sunny and hot this afternoon. Today's high 95 shy of the record. Mostly clear, quiet, and comfortable overnight, a low of 62. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. It's 9:06, time for Kendall and Casey.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Oh, man, do we have a big show today.
It's a big show.
As Ed Sullivan used to say, really big show.
Really big.
We got a really big show. It's Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. Okay, so we got we got just a million things to get to. And so coming up at 10 o'clock, we will have a special guest, the person who is alleged to have viewed the sharing of artificial intelligence pornography in the lieutenant governor's office. So we'll have that at 10. At 9:30, we're going to have a fascinating conversation about school referendums. Scott Wyndham, who is the superintendent of Avon Schools, and Kim Woodward, who is the president of the Avon School Board, will be with us. So we're going to Katie bar the doors on that one and give them credit. They said, we want the smoke. So they're going to come in for that. Nikki Kelly from the Capitol Chronicle will be with us. She's got all sorts of data on how much the state is going to make off housing those inmates at the Miami Correctional facility. So a whole bunch of stuff to get to today. But first, Casey, Jimmy Kimmel is donezo.
He's out of there. Has been pulled indefinitely by ABC following controversial remarks made by him on his September 15th episode. Nexstar Media announced that they would no longer air the show, and then that was followed by Sinclair Broadcast Group.
Okay, so this was in regards to Charlie Kirk and statements that he made about Trump supporters in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Do we have the audio of that?
Yeah, we do. This is what Jimmy Kimmel said that got him in trouble.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition.
So Nexstar Media has called Kimmel's comments offensive and insensitive.
And so this was really the affiliates that air ABC that push back on this. I think that's important. This wasn't ABC doing this of their own volition. These were these television stations, local affiliates. Right. Now these are mega companies that own these local affiliates.
So Nexstar Media Group, they have 32 ABC affiliates.
Yeah, and so, I mean, we're not talking about, some mom-and-pop operation that shut down Jimmy Kimmel, but, first of all, there's a time for humor and time for laughs. The wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, is not that, and you cannot expect... Look, Jimmy Kimmel's a vile, nasty person, and I hate what he's become because at one point, he and Adam Carolla were phenomenal, whether it was the Man Show or the Crank Anchors. They did so much in the late 90s, the early 2000s, so much super funny stuff. And he was a super funny guy. And Jimmy Kimmel is a great example of how fame can absolutely rot someone at their core. Because when Jimmy Kimmel became, or maybe he always was that and just was afraid to show it, I don't think that. But the person that you saw on stage and on screen after he got that television show was an incredibly different person than we saw publicly, whether it's the Man Show, the Crank Anchors, all the stuff he did for Comedy Central. It just morphed him into a completely different human being. And, first of all, totally insensitive and horrible timing on his part. But also part of being a broadcaster is you got to know when things are acceptable and when things aren't. And ultimately, the system policed itself, in which it didn't need government intervention. We didn't need Pam Bondi out threatening people or jailing people. The system policed itself, where these affiliates just said, we're not doing it anymore.
So what you've got is these late night hosts, they've gone from being court jesters to court clerics. And what people are saying is that comments like these don't serve the community. And that's what local broadcasters ideally are supposed to be doing. And these messages that are being broadcast out on these local affiliates, Nexstar is saying, hey, you know what? No, these messages don't have to be mandated from a studio in California. We have control over what messages are going to be placed in our local community, and that's not it. Now, there's a big picture here because you've got the Nexstar Tegna merger and the FCC chair, Brendan Carr. He obviously said that Kimmel's got a concerted effort to lie to the American people, and this plays hard in the big picture of all that.
But this is where this gets very squirrely, which is the system policed itself in the sense of these affiliates stood up and said, we're not doing this. And so it worked. But when you get into government people saying you can't lie about this or you can't lie about that, this feels very Biden-y, and this is the thing I'm screaming about right now. When you got the Attorney General saying this stuff, now she tried to walk it back, but I was not very impressed. Look, you have the right. Now there are obviously rules. There are words you can't say, etc. But you have the right to say whatever you want about Charlie Kirk, and then society has the right to push back on you or the companies you work for or the people that you work for or the institutions that you work for. And there may be ramifications for that. What I get very concerned about, though, is the thought police stuff where the government and we've seen multiple government officials come out and say this, are starting to talk about things you can and cannot say. That is not their job.
The government, no. However, the company you work for can say that.
Totally.
And
Casey, there are things in this mind on a daily basis. There are 10,000 thoughts over the 3 hours of this radio program that I think of things that I would like to say. And then I have to pause and realize I can't say that because the company I work for would not tolerate me saying that on these airwaves. And being on the airwaves, whether you're us or you're Jimmy Kimmel or you work at the county radio station, being on public broadcast airwaves or broadcasting for any company is a gift. It's not a right. And you better be prepared for ramifications.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
It's brewing, and Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the Morning News. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal. Book telehealth if she feel.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Are you ready to build your custom dream home? Joyner Homes is ready to make your dream come true. Over 18 years, Joyner Homes, based out of Greenfield, have built hundreds of homes in central Indiana. And the best place to start is JoynerHomes.com. That's where you'll find pricing, photos of completed Joyner homes to inspire you, available home sites, and info on where you can visit their model homes and a lot more. Be sure to check out Joyner Homes' 5-star Google reviews. Get started today at JoynerHomes.com.
The Sundown Gardens Fall Open House is this Saturday. Sales all day, giveaways, kids' games, and door prizes too. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield.
Heat and cool places where ductwork won't fit using Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits. You can even wrap them to match your decor.
Find out more at absolutecomfort.org.
Stuff going on today here on the Kendall and Casey show. Of course, coming up at 10 o'clock, we will have the individual who alleges that they saw artificial intelligence pornography being shared in the lieutenant governor's office. Coming up next segment, we're going to have the folks from the Avon school system. They've got a school referendum coming up this fall, and there are a lot of people that are upset about the process on that, how it was handled. So we're going to give them credit. They said, we'll come in, we'll tell you all about it. We're going to do a deep dive on school referendums in Indiana, Senate Bill 1, property taxes. And look, they're obviously these schools are a gigantic part of this equation. And as long as the legislature is going to let these schools continue to have the power to basically declare these referendums, you're sort of at their mercy, right? I mean, they can just keep going and going and going and going until they succeed. So we'll have them in to talk about that. Nikki Kelly from the Capitol Chronicle will be with us coming up in the 11 o'clock hour to talk about a variety of things, including this topic here, which is, Casey, the state of Indiana looks like they could potentially make a huge amount of money over giving up space in the Miami Correctional Facility to house these illegal immigrants.
Okay, so Nikki Kelly's going to get into that a little bit more when she joins us. But right now what we do know is the Indiana State Budget Committee has approved $15.79 million for upgrades to the Miami Correctional Facility, and that is to prepare it for use as a federal immigration detention center. Some of these upgrades, they include perimeter fencing, lighting, intake modifications, drug and drone detection systems, staff housing, also x-ray screening equipment. Of course, these improvements, they're all contingent upon the execution of a new contract between the Department of Corrections and ICE.
Okay, so go ahead and mark this down. It is 9/21 on September the 18th of 2025. Rob Kendall is about to say something nice about Indiana and Indiana Republicans and Republican governance. I think this is a phenomenal idea. I said from the beginning, look, as long as we're even breaking even on this, To me, we have an obligation to help the country. These are ways you don't have to be subservient to the Trump administration like Braun is clearly doing on the redistricting, where he just basically admitted they're being strong-armed into it. There are many different ways you can help not only your state, but also your country and be good partners. And this is one. We have the available space as long as the federal government is willing to cover the cost of doing it, then I'm all for it. Now, it looks like it's going to be a win-win because not only are they going to cover the cost of doing it, the state of Indiana, over the life of this, depending on how many people are there and for how long, are going to make tens, if not potentially hundreds of millions of dollars off of this whole thing. Like what we are charging them to do this and what it will actually cost to do this, we're going to come out way ahead potentially.
Yeah, so the Department of Corrections, they expect to actually recoup the nearly $16 million investment. The agreement guarantees a minimum of 450 occupied beds with a maximum of 1,000. So they could be holding 1,000 detainees there.
And so and I think Nikki Kelly's going to get into this with us in the 11 o'clock hour. One of the things that the question was, well, if we have all this extra space, why have we been, housing all these people at a local level, forcing the counties to take them on? And what kind of came out in this hearing is they have the extra space, but because of where this facility is located at, which is in the middle, I mean, I'm not in any way trying to impugn the people that live in the greater, Miami County area. I'm not in any way, Peru or what, they're fine folks, right? But in terms of if you're going to attract a large amount of people to an area, they just don't have the amenities, the residences, et cetera. So they've had trouble getting people who want to work for what the state can afford to pay for the corrections officers to man the facility. So it wasn't a lack of space, it was a lack of people to be able to work. Because of these federal dollars, they are now going to be able to enhance the pay a fairly significant amount, and they will be able to attract the people to work these shifts, which will enable the state to be able to make money.
So the detainees that are going to be held there will be held under federal detention standards. They're going to have access to housing, food, medical care, courts, communication, everything. There are some critics. Representative Greg Porter, he criticized the funding. He said it's misplaced and said Republicans prioritize detention over farm relief, education, and health care.
See, this is the Democrats, man. Every time they get a freebie handed to them, right? I mean, there's so many freebies that they could just grab. Then they just can't help themselves on stuff like this. Like, look, it's $16 million up front from the state we got to pay. We're getting that money back. Okay, go ahead and check that box so it's not costing us any money. People in this state and across this country recognize that illegal immigration is a massive problem. It needs to be dealt with. We need to be serious about it. This is something the state can do. Our part as Hoosiers, that they're not asking anything of us. The federal government's going to pay. Of course, it's all our money. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, a state taxpayer, it's going to get spent somewhere. And not only do we get an opportunity to help our country deal with this massive problem, which is illegal immigration, but the state of Indiana financially is going to benefit from this. And anything other than thanks, where do we sign, should be a complete non-starter. And yet these Democrats, because they're so invested in illegal immigration, because the whole plan for illegal immigration was to create an entire generation of Democrat voters dependent upon the government. That's what the Biden open borders were all about. Get these people in this country, they'll have children, and a generation from now, they're all Democrat voters. They see the plan going up in smoke, and then they say stupid stuff like that, and people go, well, the Republicans are screwing me on taxes, but can't deal with these people.
Well, Greg Porter's saying that this is a misplaced priority. No, this is the top priority. In fact, this is what Donald Trump ran on. This is what Donald Trump won on. Of course, Ed Delaney, Representative Delaney, he called for stronger legislative oversight for deals like this, saying that recent trends reduce transparency. I think they're being very transparent about this. In fact, how much it's costing and how much the state will be making.
Yeah, look, like we're the last people in this program to ever carry water or cheerlead or anything for Republicans. This isn't a Republican thing. This is a massive issue. We have an opportunity to help do our part to solve the issue, and the state is going to financially benefit in the process. And you're right, Casey, for once, Man, imagine if we got this from the IEDC, where they're actually, laying it all out there for everyone.
Yeah, being pretty transparent.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Scott Wyndham, who is the superintendent of Avon Schools, and Kim Woodward, who is the president of the Avon School Board, they've got a school referendum coming up. We've been very critical of kind of how they're handling that, and they said, we're happy to come in and have the conversation. If you want to learn about how referendums work, if you want, and under the new Senate Bill 1 era, if you want to learn about a little bit about school funding, if you just want to see me be critical of referendums, this is the conversation for you. We'll have it next.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath. You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Of all the times to buy a new Lincoln, right now is the very best time at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get 0% APR for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Corsair, Nautilus, or Aviator. Plus get a $1,000 Tom Roush Trade Assist bonus. So come get that new Lincoln from Tom Roush Lincoln, where our family's been serving yours for over 53 years.
36-month, 10,000-mile-per-year lease, 2,500 due at signing. No security deposit required. All offers subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details. Ends 9/30/25.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
As our loved ones age, ensuring their safety at home becomes a top priority. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I'll be right back with some practical things you can do to reduce the possibility of a fall or injury.
Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Visit cardon.us to find a community near you.
Removing tripping hazards such as rugs and floor clutter is one way to prevent or minimize falls around the home. Another is to position grab bars in the restroom and other common areas where your loved one may need some extra support. Contact your local area agency on aging to inquire about low-cost or free installation services. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He's off the air. Sunny and 68 in Indianapolis, the high reaching 88 today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:30. The move by ABC to suspend Jimmy Kimmel's late night show is getting a range of reactions, from celebration to condemnation.
In the wake of ABC's suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live, supporters expressed anger and disappointment while critics celebrated the move. President Trump's Truth Social post congratulated ABC for the action, then urged NBC to do the same with late-night hosts Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers. A statement from the ACLU said that FCC Chair Brendan Carr's call on ABC officials affiliates to not carry Kimmel's show as a, quote, grave threat to our First Amendment freedoms. The Screen Actors Guild called it suppression and retaliation. ABC, which is owned by Disney, suspended Kimmel after Nexstar Communications Group said it would pull the show. Both Disney and Nexstar have upcoming business before the FCC.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers reporting. President Donald Trump, meanwhile, meeting with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer today to discuss trade and the war in Ukraine, among other subjects. Trump met with King Charles yesterday for a state dinner with over 100 people. British officials touted more than $200 billion worth of planned investments into the UK from U.S. companies ahead of the talks. And congressional Democrats unveiling a new stopgap government funding bill Wednesday night as an alternative to the Republican-backed plan as Congress scrambles to avoid a government shutdown at the end of the month. The Democrats' bill would keep the government funded through October 31st while extending insurance subsidies for the Affordable Care Act that were set to expire at the end of the year. Now your opening bell report on 93 WIBC brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. The Dow is up 28 points to 46,018 points. The S&P 500 up 29 points to 6,600. And the NASDAQ soaring up to 215 points at the moment, 24,223. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling. A familiar face in Indy.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling will pay you cash for your scrap metal. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling may seem familiar to you, and that's because they are. They're trusted local family-owned businesses going back 3 generations in Indy with their familiar orange logo and a name you know. But you may not know they'll pay you cash for your scrap metal. Cash is king. Your scrap aluminum, steel, copper, and brass will get you cash from Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Just drop it off or schedule a pickup, and you'll put cash in your pocket. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Local names you can trust with 2 locations.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling. A familiar face in Indy.
Get cash for your scrap. Get started at farnsworthmetals.com.
So there's a lot of talk about property taxes in the state of Indiana. There's a lot of talk about school corporations and how it affects them and what they're doing because of Senate Bill 1. Let's get to the bottom of how one school corporation is handling it. It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. And we've talked on our program quite a bit about school districts who are going to the referendum process or going back to the referendum process because of Senate Bill 1. One of those school districts is Avon here in central Indiana, and here to tell us why, walking into the lion's den, let's give him a lot of credit, Kim Woodward. She is the president of the Avon School Board. Kim, hello.
Hello.
And Scott Wyndham, he is the superintendent of Avon Schools. Scott, hello.
Hello.
All right, so Scott, I guess I'll start with you with this. How much stuff is the government entitled to of other people? Because it seems like we pay a lot in property taxes, and then we see school districts like you're saying, we need a little bit more. Where do we draw the line?
Sure. And the one thing, first off, I appreciate you having us on, Rob. And the one thing I would say, just to clarify kind of your introduction, for us, this is a renewal of a referendum that's been in place in our community since 2018. And so for us, this really doesn't have as much to do about Senate Enrolled Act 1. That's really a different issue. For us, our community voted to support a referendum in 2018, and now the state law says in 8 years you have to go back and ask the voters if they continue to support that. And so that's the process that we're going through now.
Okay, so I want to do some I'm a public school guy, so I'm doing some public school math. 8 years would tell me that's 26. It's 25. Why are we doing a referendum in 25 when you could wait until 26?
We had a lot of conversations about that this summer, and that really happened in the last legislative session. So our referendum passed in May of 2018.
Yep.
So for the last 7 years, we have been planning for May of 2026. And the reason school districts often did a May referendum is because that coincides with when we do hiring and when state law says if we have to reduce teachers, it has to happen between May 1 and July 1.
Okay, let me stop you right there. So those of us that say, well, it's convenient they're in May because that's when fewer people vote, y'all can get more people to go to the polls, that's just a big coincidence. I'm wrong on that.
Well, I would say the reason we chose May and the reason other school districts often chose May was more about our hiring process and the state timeline of when teacher reductions have to happen. So Avon tried a referendum in 2011 that failed. That summer, we laid off over 60 teachers. In May of 2018, our community supported a referendum, and that summer, we immediately hired over 80 teachers back. And so for schools, our hiring cycle is May and June. Our hiring cycle is not November. And so that's really why you see so many school districts that in the past have done May. The legislature changed that on us in this last session. And then the school board really had to wrestle this summer with November 2025, November 26. Those were the only two options that the school districts were left with changing in the legislation.
Scott Wyndham, superintendent of Avon Schools, our guest. Also Kim Woodward, she's the president of the Avon School Board. Okay, so people who are saying, well, you guys are expediting this a year because next year you would have to go to a general election. You're saying that doesn't have anything to do with, hey, more people will show up to vote. It's easier for us to get our people. They're going to know when the referendum is. You're saying it's all just related to the hiring of teachers.
I'd have to say that really this is more about the timing than anything else. So the way that Scott has alluded to, when we figure out our fiscal budget, that's on a school year basis, not on a calendar year basis. And there are two kinds of referendums. There's an operating referendum and a capital referendum. It might make sense that a capital referendum, which has to do with buildings and schools, would take place outside that fiscal year norm. But for us, this is all about decreased classroom sizes, which require teachers. It's about teacher pay, remaining competitive, and it's about extra activities and things for students to participate in. So it makes much more sense that we would expedite it early. Let's play out the calendar. If we had waited until the expiration of our current referendum, then if it had failed, we would then at that point have to take action to not dip into our funds in order to pay those teachers for the remainder of the year, only to see them being laid off at the end of the year.
All right, so there's a lot of people who are upset about the process of this in Avon. There was a video that came out. It was, I believe you were speaking into the camera, and some people sent this to me, and it was you talking about the plan to go forward with the referendum before the referendum had been voted on. And so I said, well, we always try to double and triple source, and I couldn't find the video, and it was set to some sort of private thing, and then it came out that it was only given to parents. It came out on an app for parents. There was an allegation of that. Would you guys like to address that? Because I think that has, Scott, would you like to address that? Because I think that has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. They feel like only the in people, or people who might have agreed with you, got to know that you guys were planning this referendum.
Yeah, so no, I appreciate you asking that question. We followed our typical process of kind of the chain of communication. So when our board voted to move forward with the referendum, our first communication was to our staff, because they are the most directly impacted.
They're employees.
No, I think there was a video that came out before the vote, though, where there was going to be a meeting and you guys were going to talk about it. It was on a YouTube link that was private, and we got that sent to us, but the public wouldn't have been able to find that.
Everything, when we promoted anything about our community meetings that happened in the summer, and really in those community meetings, we were talking about the timeline issues. We put all of those on our social media pages. We communicated via Parent Square. Then once the board passed a resolution that we were moving forward with the referendum, we communicated directly to our parents and staff first via Parent Square, which I think is what you're talking about. And then the next day, put everything out on Facebook, on our website. And since that time, we've done 50 or 60 community meetings, going everywhere in the community to talk about this. Our website is full of information. We keep posting information on social media. So we are as transparent as we can possibly be to make sure that our community is informed and engaged in this process.
Scott?
And just to clarify, Rob, that action was taken at a public meeting.
Sure, I know, but there was a video that came out that was private on YouTube before you guys voted to go forward with the referendum.
For employees and parents.
Right. And
then the next day.
And you understand why that would rub people the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
That they're going to hear about it on the radio from me instead of hearing it from you guys in the public, right?
Yeah.
And you guys aren't mad that I shared that, right? I mean, it was available on the school's YouTube account, right?
That's right.
Okay, Scott Wyndham is our guest. He's superintendent of Avon Schools. Do you want to hop in here?
Yeah, I just have one question. Okay, one of the things that you mentioned is if the referendum fails, Well, one of the things that you wanted to get, actually, if it passes, is some school resource officers. So my question is, if it fails, are you implying that the students are not going to have safety protocols in place?
So the key for our referendum is that what we're asking our voters to do is maintain the services that we have had in Avon for the last 7 years. This is a renewal referendum. So we have had our focus on class sizes, our focus on additional supports and opportunities for kids, instructional assistants, additional school resource officers, additional supports that we wrap around our students, counselors, social workers. If it fails, then ultimately we're going to have to look at what are the services that have to maintain and the services that we're able to continue with significantly less revenue because we don't have that those referendum dollars coming in. I
guess, Scott, one of the questions is you just said additional sources. So that would be growth, not maintaining.
No, for the renewal, what we're saying is if we want to maintain our great class sizes and the additional supports we have in place right now, we have to have the funds that we've had for the last 7 years to be able to continue to do that.
Our growth pattern in Avon has been exponential. I moved to Avon in 1999. There were 3,400 kids in the entire school district.
Are you to blame for all the traffic?
I am, 100%. That was me. And now we have 10,700 students in our school district. So I think what Scott is saying is maintaining our current state under this referendum renewal is important to us. But we will only grow as our population grows, as our student population grows. We feel very well equipped right now with certainly our teachers, but our officers as well. And that would only change if our growth pattern continues.
And I think the thing that we will prioritize all the time is student safety
100%.
Above everything else.
Okay.
So whether a referendum is successful or loses, that's always going to be our top priority. But ultimately, we have to make priorities. So if we want to if a referendum fails and we want to maintain school resource officers, then other things are going to have to get cut if that funding goes away.
Okay, and I'm sure you guys know that's one of the things that sank the Brownsburg referendum several years ago, is when the superintendent tried to imply kids were going to be in danger if they didn't pass the referendum. So you guys have clearly learned from that. Very well done.
Yes.
All right. Okay, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation about school referendums in the state of Indiana and property taxes in the state of Indiana and public education policy in the state of Indiana. Kim Woodward, president of the Avon School Board, and Scott Wyndham, the superintendent of Avon Schools, our guests. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon. Rob Kendall joins us to go off the rails, the latest on the Charlie Kirk investigation and the biggest stories in Indy.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros, and a sincere thank you to our loyal customers for helping us to another record year. We recently saved a 62-year-old retiring couple over $800 monthly when compared to their COBRA offerings. We recently saved a family of 4 over $400 monthly when compared to their $7,500 deductible program on the ACA, and you know that's still Obamacare. We recently saved a small 4-man manufacturing company over $1,000 monthly and gave them better coverage. We feature coverages guaranteed to age 65, low out-of-pocket expenses, the largest networks in the country, and you can sign up anytime. If you are retiring early, self-employed, or need coverage for your small group, call us at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. If you don't call us, we can't help you. What do you got to lose? Call us 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. As always, God bless America, common sense government, and peace through strict.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
20 ribeyes for $35. That's 20 ribeyes for $35 at 2 locations in Indianapolis going on now. 20 ribeyes for only $35 at the corner of South Emerson and Thompson Road. Just look for the big truck. Also in the parking lot across the street from Perry Meridian 6th Grade Academy. Also on the big truck is cases of T-bones, fillets, New York strips, burgers, and a whole lot more. Big truck sale. Marinated chicken breasts too. Don't wait. Big steak bake sale at 2 different locations at the corner of South Emerson and Thompson Road. Also in the Hardee's parking lot on Meridian across from Perry Meridian 6th Grade Academy. 20 ribeyes for just $35. Don't wait. Everything must go. Big truck sale. That's 20 ribeyes for $35 at the corner of South Emerson and Thompson Road. Also in the Hardee's parking lot on Meridian across from Perry Meridian 6th Grade Academy. Get there before the truck is gone. Head online to the contest page at WIBC.com and enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra Thursday, December 4th in Cambridge Fieldhouse.
Back in the summer of 65, I was feeling more dead than alive.
93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Casey, we're having this incredibly interesting conversation with Scott Wyndham, who's the superintendent of schools in Avon, Kim Woodward, who is the Avon School Board president.
Yes, I'd like to take a moment to compliment you because you're doing an excellent job with this, but let's continue on.
I'm going to clip that and save that forever. Philosophically, people are saying, look, my property taxes have doubled, they've tripled, I've paid a lot. Where did all that money go, and how would the school have existed if the property taxes hadn't gone up, if you guys are saying you don't have enough money? Like, do you understand why people are like, I've paid all this extra money that I wasn't paying 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm paying a referendum on top of that? Where does all that money go?
Well, and one of the things we've said in all of the community meetings that we've had in Avon is we will sit down and go over our financial information with anyone, and it is complicated. Our state legislature has made school finance very complicated with lots of specific buckets that have to be spent on specific things. So all of our assessed values have gone up, no doubt. We as a school district don't have any control over how people's assessed values have gone up, but what we do have control over are tax rates for the school district. And so what we've been able to do, and with a strong school board, they've been able to decrease our overall tax rate.
Yeah, but you guys
21%.
jacked it up big time with that referendum. So, I mean, it's like you're decreasing it's kind of federal government speak there, right? You're decreasing the increase. So,
well, but I would say if you look, the voters approved a referendum tax rate of 35 cents in 2018.
Sure.
And we have never collected that full amount, and we've decreased that amount 32%.
But everything you're collecting is above the tax cap.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's why ultimately voters have to go and decide that they want to do that. And really schools are the one entity that the state legislature says you have to go and specifically ask for a referendum for additional funding. And we've been really strategic since 2018, and the board has given really clear direction. We are only going to collect funds that we need to meet the 3 priorities of our referendum, and if we don't need more, we're not going to collect more. And so we have been able to drop that tax rate 32% since the voters approved it in 2018, and now we're asking for a reduced tax rate from what they approved in 2018 as well.
But it is above the cap.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt it's above the cap.
So do you guys view, and we'll just run a little long here, and by the way, full credit for you guys coming in, and nobody's held you hostage? You're all getting out of here?
As far as we know, we're getting out. It's not over yet.
We always have this conversation when people are hesitant to come in, but you guys wanted to come in, and I think that's awesome. So, like, where does this end? Like, are we because the premise of Senate Bill 1 is, hey, property taxes are out of control, and then people got to come right back and defeat a referendum. Does this ever end, or are we just in the continual?
Boy, do we wish it would.
This is not how we want
I
to spend
believe that if our Indiana legislature would stop inflicting pain by 1,000 strikes every single legislative session, some of this could end.
What does that mean?
That means that a huge amount of Indiana's budget is being funneled to charter and voucher schools, which are not held to the same accountability standards as public schools. And if that money could come back to public schools and that could be focused on remedying any of the issues that public schools have, I believe that referendum funding would no longer be necessary.
So we could start an alliance if we get rid of the money of the charter schools. We'll all agree no referendums and everybody abides by the cap. Are we cutting a deal right now? Are we cutting a deal on public?
I mean,
airwaves?
if I had the ability to cut that deal with you, I would right now. But I definitely believe that referendum funding is really about trying to gain back what we've lost through some of those activities. Certainly, Senate Enrolled Act 1 has put a lot of school districts on notice that they will not have the operating capital that they will need to operate in the upcoming year.
All right, we can go on for an hour.
Okay, let's.
I don't think you want any part of that.
Okay, no.
Guys, thank you for coming in. Like, we don't obviously agree on a lot of things, but I really appreciate you guys coming in and being transparent with the community, and I think that's going to actually work out pretty well for you guys. So, Scott Wyndham, Kim Woodward, thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
That's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Look, Casey, I think it's interesting, this discussion about schools and Senate Bill 1, and there's just this universal agreement on all sides that this bill was so bad.
Yes. They should have vetoed it.
Like, it doesn't, who is it actually working for? Like, a lot of times in public policy, there are, depending on what side of the aisle you're on, there are winners and there are losers. And in this case, I don't see, other than the corporations who are going to get this massive tax break if they ultimately do repeal the business personal property tax, I don't see who the winner in all of this was. Because if your goal was to get public education in line, you have still allowed them to basically do a bunch of, I'll use the term shenanigans, other people might use the term like financial maneuvers that were in place that'll keep property taxes high.
Right.
If your goal was to support, in air quotes, public schools, well, clearly they don't feel that's happening either. So what constituency got served in all of this?
Yeah, no one. You're right. The businesses won. That's who won.
And Braun is still out there taking a victory lap on this bill. The General Assembly is still trying to convince people that they somehow helped anyone. I mean, you as a taxpayer, you are going to see your taxes go up. Look, that thing in Avon, probably going to pass. Hope it doesn't. Hope it fails. But it's probably going to pass because you have to have such a super organized opposition most of the time to defeat these things. And I don't think they have that out there. Now, again, totally cheerleading for it to go down. If you try it in Brownsburg, there'll be a very organized opposition.
Well, not every community has Rob Kendall, though.
Well, and this is what they bank on. So you're going to, the Avon people are going to see their taxes stay above the cap. So this relief you're supposed to get from Braun is going to be totally offset by the referendum. There's a better chance than not within 5 years, most of these central Indiana communities are going to come for a local income tax increase in some shape, form, or fashion. We're seeing these other communities do these wheel taxes.
Right.
How did the taxpayers win if the goal was to get property taxes under control? Somebody help me understand how the taxpayers got helped in all of this.
They did not.
Okay, thank you. You've answered the question for me.
They did not. And, you know, other schools were listening to that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, ultimately, I don't live in Avon. I'm just doing this out of the goodness of my heart, so it ain't going to affect my taxes one bit. But I also recognize that people respond to the behavior of others and how that behavior is either rewarded or rebuked. Like, that's human nature, right? So whatever happens in these other communities, Fort Wayne, Avon, whatever, this year, there's no way it's just a coincidence. You buy that thing about the teacher retention, which is why they went for it in 25.
Well, that's why I was asking. I mean, he did say additional.
Yeah.
And I thought that's growth.
Yeah.
New, additional.
Yeah, they didn't have a great answer for how the video was private in the beginning either, which I knew they wouldn't. But give them credit. They came in. Most
they did
people,
come in.
They will not do that, and they deserve full credit for coming in.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's take a break. When we come back, we will have Aaron Sheridan, who is a former senior advisor to the Lieutenant Governor, Micah Beckwith. And she will be with us to describe in detail her allegation that artificial intelligence pornography was viewed and shared in the Lieutenant Governor's office. Who knew, which this has not been revealed before, according to her, and who she told about it.
Yeah. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is back at the racing capital of the world. This sports car racing event, September 19th through 21st, is different than anything you've seen at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sunday the 21st, it's the TireRack.com Battle on the Bricks. And now the race runs 6 hours. The paddock is open for fans all weekend long. Infield camping opportunities make this a can't-miss weekend. Kids 15 and under are free with a paid adult. Get your tickets at IMS.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob for our friends at We Grow Hair Indy. You know, Casey, this is a true story. I was hanging out with some neighbors last night, and they looked at me and they said, "How old are you, Rob?" Mm-hmm. And I said, 40-ish. And they said, "No way!" And then my neighbor, Fireman Scott, who's awesome, he looked at me and he said, "That's because of We Grow Hair Indy." Nice. I said, "That's right.
You got it.
You too could look as beautiful, as youthful. Wow your neighbors with your actual age like I do. If you make a trip to We Grow Hair Indy, 317-522-2995. You know that happened. You know I wouldn't lie about that.
I don't doubt you.
It totally happened. Nope. 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Schedule your totally free, no hassle, no obligation consultation. You call them. You say, "I want to look as young and as beautiful as Rob Kendall from WIBC." Darren and the gang, they'll schedule the consultation. They'll take care of you. And then you make the choice from there. 317-522-2995. Check them out on the web, WeGrowHairIndy.com.
It's the strongest hearts that remind us to cherish the moments. It's the grandmas who made us sit up straighter, the grandpas who showed us old records, and the parents who were embarrassingly loud at our games. It's those hearts that are anything but ordinary. Caring for extraordinary hearts for decades, Franciscan Health knows heart care is more than just a name on a chart. It's somebody who shaped your whole life. Heal your heart today at franciscanhealth.org/heartcare.
Hi, this is Denny Smith. If you're tired of weak water pressure and running out of hot water, it's time to take control and upgrade your system. Reach out to my friend Lance and the local team at LD Smith Plumbing. Right now, they're offering $500 off a new water heater through the end of the month. A new water heater means better water pressure, more hot water, and lower energy bills. Give Lance a call at 317-927-7186 or visit ldsmithplumbing.com to schedule your appointment today.
Listen up, football fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $200 into something bigger when you bet on money line, spread, totals, player props.
$200 in bonus bets when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Indiana. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, what Ball State is deciding to do with one of their employees over a social media post regarding Charlie Kirk's death, the charges an Indy man is now facing following a state police investigation, and who police arrested for recent thefts, and who IMPD is now looking at in the case. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
He's making another deal with Britain. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
There's no more natural partnership in the world. Together, we're building up the industrial capacity of both of our countries, which is crucial to our defense.
President Trump sitting next to Prime Minister Keir Starmer signing what's called
the Tech Propensity Deal, which includes joint efforts to expand AI models for healthcare and also quantum computing capabilities.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich in London as the two leaders also continue to talk trade today.
The UK is hoping that President Trump will reduce the tariffs on British steel and aluminum, which currently sit at 25% 5%. They were hoping to bring that down to 0.
Last night, the president congratulated ABC on a Truth Social post for taking Jimmy Kimmel's show off the air indefinitely for comments that he's made in recent days about the Charlie Kirk assassination and the suspected gunman.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from.
Well, evidence unveiled by the Utah County prosecutor suggests Tyler Robinson had a leftist ideology and hated Kirk. The SAG-AFTRA Media Union calls taking Kimmel off the air a suppression that endangers everyone's freedom. We're learning more about Tyler Robinson's arrest, that his parents talked him out of suicide, helped him surrender peacefully.
The parents have been advised to lay low for a long time for their own safety because of all the threats that have been coming in. The suspect's roommate and lover, whom he'd allegedly confessed to in text messages, has also been getting a lot of threats, and the sheriff said that they are now in a safe place far from southern Utah, and we're told that they are continuing to cooperate with the investigation.
Fox's Garrett Tenney at Utah Valley University, where Kirk was murdered 8 days ago. 3 police officers are being mourned in York County, Pennsylvania, while 2 other cops are critical but stable after a gunman shot them while serving a warrant. He was killed when they fired back. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Facing the consequences. You've got a sunny sky. It's 70 in the Circle City, the high in the upper 80s today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending now at 10:02. Indiana's Lieutenant Governor is defending Ball State University's decision to fire an employee over a controversial post about Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Micah Beckwith says the firing shows that people in the public eye need to be responsible for what they say, especially when they're dealing with students.
I'm all for free speech, but there is consequences to your speech. And I think what Ball State is doing is appropriate to say, listen, we're not going to put up with this. You need to hold yourself to a higher standard if you are an educator.
Kirk was a political activist who co-founded Turning Point USA. He was shot and killed while speaking to people on a debate stage in Utah. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
An interstate shooting investigation is leading to more charges against Indianapolis man Logan Quisenberry. On Wednesday, the Marion County Prosecutor's Office announced the 19-year-old is now charged with criminal recklessness, possession of a destructive device, and drug dealing after Indiana State Police searched his home. This came after police say Quisenberry first fired shots at a vehicle on I-465 last month, which thankfully did not injure the family inside. 3 kids are arrested this week, accused of stealing guns and vehicles in Indianapolis and Fishers. At a Wednesday news conference, IMPD Chief Chris Bailey said they'll be looking into see who else was involved and what the parents were doing.
So my suggestion is to parents, know where your kids are, know what they're doing, and have some control over them. We believe there's also other crews out there right now operating. The message is going to be clear to you. You're putting yourself, one, at great risk in the activity that you're doing.
He added that the parents of those 3 kids could face criminal charges. Another data center is facing pushback in Indiana. In St. Joseph County, a $12 million project was just given an unfavorable recommendation from the Area Plan Commission. County leaders say residents are experiencing data center fatigue from a large Amazon project already under construction. And it's Game 3 of the first-round playoff series between the Indiana Fever and the Atlanta Dream this evening. The loser eliminated from the playoffs. Kelsey Mitchell on the opportunity ahead for the team.
It will be a really good challenge for us. You know, obviously we want to win a game, and they want to win a game, so I think somebody has to lose and somebody has to win, obviously. But you got to let it be the moment and let it kind of fuel you for Thursday. But you got to move on.
Indiana hoping to move on from the first round for the first time since 2015. Tip-off tonight, 7:30 Eastern. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey back in 1 minute.
Hey, do you have more than $200,000 saved for retirement? You could put that money in the stock market, but you have no idea what will happen with it. Or you could make a smarter move and get a 20% upfront bonus and a competitive return that's averaged more than 10% annually over the last 10 years. Here's the math. If you invest $200,000, you get an upfront $40,000 bonus. That's $240,000, right?
That $240,000 could earn 10% or $24,000 in that first year. So by year's end, your original $200,000 could grow to $264,000. Get all the information by calling Bill Demery, your retirement guy, 317-648-5120, or visit yourretirementguy.com. That's Bill Demery, your retirement guy, 317-648-5120, or visit yourretirementguy.com.
This hour powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Douglas Mini Splits dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Casey, we have talked about this story for months, and I think it's time for us to try to get some clarity for the public about allegedly what took place.
Yeah, and this involves the office of the lieutenant governor.
Yeah, it's Kendall and Casey show. By the way, I'm Rob. That's Casey. And this story surfaced, I guess it's been months ago now, about allegations of artificial intelligence pornography being viewed in the lieutenant governor's office. A freelance journalist by the name of Tom LaBianco ran the story, and then it came out that the Marion County Prosecutor's Office was investigating that, and shortly into this, there were multiple stories that came out about this. I said, I have talked to someone who is alleged to have viewed the video. And this person has, on multiple occasions, consistently described to me what they observed, how they observed it, the video itself, and that this person was doing their civic duty to cooperate with authorities, and when they felt they were able to, they would come on this program and describe those events to our audience and put their name behind it. That's a key thing. Yeah. Because we've heard from somebody, anonymous this and anonymous that. I said, look, there's a process, right? Life is not Law and Order where it gets wrapped up in 1 hour.
Yeah, I mean, the lieutenant governor himself on these airwaves said, who's ever making these claims, I wish they would come forward. Well, they are.
Yeah, here we go. So here to talk about this with us today is Erin Sheridan. She is a former senior advisor to Micah Beckwith, to the lieutenant governor. Erin, hello.
Hi.
Okay, so I want to just set up a little bit that you have served the state of Indiana for a very long time, up to and including once being appointed the auditor of the state of Indiana. Can you tell
honorable one.
That's right.
Always
yes,
the honorable.
The honorable Erin Sheridan. So can you tell us a little bit about your service, who you are in your service to the state of Indiana?
Sure. So I started in 2000 under the Connie Noss administration in the state auditor's office, and I have worked my way up and have worked in under several administrations, and ended up taking. I actually left the auditor's office, which is now the comptroller's office, and moved to the lieutenant governor's office with Suzanne Crouch.
Okay, so you were brought in by Micah to serve in his administration. Can you tell us a little bit of the details about how you came to be offered that job, accept that job, and what your role was with Micah's office?
So my intent of the role was just helping Micah get acclimated. I blame you for this.
Yes, it is. I highly recommended you for this position. Yes, that is my fault.
But it was an exciting opportunity. I knew it was going to be a challenge. I did not know Micah very well, but he came across very nice, very pleasant. And he also did come across very green about government and governing and even politics in general. But I knew that I had a place then.
Because the reality is, and Casey and I have talked about this, there were several people that I recommended to Micah because it's easy to run on being an outsider, but once you are in the office, it's not the Wild West. You can't do whatever you want, and you do need a certain amount of seasoned professionals around you who know how state government works.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so obviously you are here today to talk about the allegations of AI pornography in the lieutenant governor's office. Can you tell us about the date when this occurred?
I do not have all of the details of what I recalled in front of me, but I can tell you that first of all, I had no idea even what a deep fake. I had never even heard that word.
Yeah.
And so that was new to me. I was helping Micah during session, and I was somewhat I wasn't the parliamentarian, but I was in there, so he wasn't by himself.
So the parliamentarian is the person who helps the in this case, it's either the Speaker of the House.
Preside over Senate.
Or, yes, Micah is the President of the Senate. This is the person that helps Micah keep the rules, keeps the train on track. Yeah.
And so I guess I was the person who just also kind of kept him, going and telling him what protocol, what should or shouldn't be happening.
Sure.
And so on this particular day, it was either the day after or 2 days after the Hoosier Idol, which is a benefit for mental health awareness.
Yeah, so this is April. It would have been in April. Okay, very good. All right. So what happened? Can you walk us through?
Well, it's not near as exciting as what I think that your listeners are going to think that it is, but it is important.
Right. So can you walk us through who was doing what and
So I was walking through the office and I heard some employees sitting around laughing and joking, and it was a nice atmosphere. And so I paused and said, "What's so funny? What's everyone laughing about?" And they were like, "Oh my gosh, check this out," and handed me a phone. And I had to put on my glasses, my readers, and I had no idea what I was getting ready to see. And it was it obviously was fake. It was AI, but it was a video of Representative Haggard's wife, Brooke, performing at the Hoosier Idol, and she was topless. And I immediately, do you have your beeper ready?
Yeah, we're good to go.
Your buzzer. I immediately, I recognized it because I had been there for the performance.
Yeah, you were at the event itself.
Yeah. So she did a beautiful job. It was one of the performances that stood out. And so I just was taken aback by it, but I'll admit I wasn't immediately offended or I just was appalled that they were so immature. So I just said, you guys need to freaking grow up.
Let me stop right there. Just to introduce everybody. Erin Sheridan is our guest. She's a former senior advisor to Micah Beckwith in the Lieutenant Governor's office, talking about her allegation that she viewed and artificial intelligence pornography was being shared in the Lieutenant Governor's office. Okay, now when you talk about people that were viewing it, are they the people that were identified in the LaBianco piece?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The individuals that he named in.
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said they. Who was they?
So they was our. I don't know if he was our senior counsel. I don't think that he was on staff or on contract, but he's a younger attorney that worked for Micah in the church, and then his deputy chief of staff. And I mean, just to kind of set it, that this was just the tone that was in the office. It was very immature. It was very, well, as you said, wild, wild west. That's what I used to say. I mean, it was pretty unbelievable that they were, and I've got a pretty good sense of humor. You know that, Rob.
Yes, I'm very aware.
But this was just a little bit over the top, as in just very flippant about sharing that.
Okay.
And knowing that we're in an open environment with cubicles and other employees. And so if there was anything memorable probably about that moment to anybody else who was in the room, was that I said, you need to grow up.
Yeah. Okay. So when you said that to them after viewing this, what was their response?
Their response was, what? And then I walked away, and because I was on a break in session. And so then I just couldn't believe it. And I just was I was a little pissed because we're working on some real issues. We could have been.
Right.
And they just were had their feet propped up or just sitting around. And I thought about it, and I thought, I've met Representative Haggard, and I bet that he's going to be appalled if he knows that his good friend Micah, his staff is showing this video. And so I came back around and I said, hey, do me a favor and send that to Representative Haggard. And if he's okay with that video, I am too. And looking back, that was so misguided on my end, because I should have said, send it to Brooke Haggard and see what she has to say. It doesn't matter what her husband says.
Right.
But they were like, well, even Micah thought it was funny. And I said,
wait. Okay, so I think that's very important. They said what?
Even Micah thought that it was funny. And I said, really?
So they were implying that Micah either knew about or had seen the video.
Yeah.
And you are certain they said that?
I'm 100% certain.
Okay, I think that is incredibly important part of this. Okay, so after that.
I want to make clear, too, Rob, that whatever kind of investigation is happening, I don't want to interfere with that, and I don't want to, but I did feel, you and I have a history, you and I are friends. I feel like that there's some people who had really good intent for Micah's success, and I think that it's just he has exploited that.
Okay.
And I just want to make sure that I'm not doing that to other government workers that are investigating this.
Okay. Did you report this then to anyone? Did you tell anybody in the office that you saw this?
So I did the very next day. I went into the chief of staff, Sherry Ellis, and I said, I did not put it to her in I have something to report. I said, hey, you might want to pay a little bit closer attention on what's going on back there. It's kind of a frat house, and Greg and Devin are sharing videos of a legislator's wife topless. And she laughed, and she's like, of course they are. And I said, yeah, like, that's what's going to take all of us down. Like, is that kind of sloppiness, that kind of professionalism, as she's sitting there, with her grass cutting shoes on. And
so you told the chief of staff about this?
Yes.
And so,
and I'll be honest, I since it was in an open environment, I don't know if they have been questioned, but I'm not so sure they won't deny this. I don't know. Well, I guess Micah did, if you asked him.
Well, this is going to bring me to again, if you're just tuning in, Erin Sheridan is our guest. She's was a senior advisor to Micah Beckwith, the lieutenant governor. We're talking about her allegation that artificial intelligence pornography was shared in the lieutenant governor's office. Okay, so that brings me to my next point. Micah claims he conducted an investigation. I have seen the comments on social media where people that are very close to him have alleged that it's you. Clearly, you would have to be an idiot to think that didn't get back to him.
Yeah.
At any point, has Micah reached out to you to say, hey, Erin, you were in the office at that time. A lot of people are saying you're the person who saw this. What did you see?
Not one time. And I have spoken to Micah. I've spoken to Micah. He was kind enough to offer to host my mom's funeral.
And so
I think that that's a really important another layer to this. It's that Micah just didn't understand the full picture of what was going on, and the lack of experience, and the way that Micah treated his office. They came in with an opinion of government and state employees, and they didn't realize that some things are just simply set up for a reason. You can politicize all of this, but you still have to, somebody still needs to pave the streets. Somebody still needs to pay the bills.
More with Aaron Sheridan, former senior advisor to Micah Beckwith, who claims artificial intelligence pornography was shared in the Lieutenant Governor's office. When we come back, it's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
The state of Texas can require voter ID for mail-in ballots.
It's not required already.
But Joe Biden got 82 million legal votes, Nigel. If you think otherwise, you might as well put the tinfoil hat on, okay? I don't think it's asking too much to have some sort of proof that you're a legal citizen in your mail-in ballot. Find a way.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-951-4279 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-951-4279. That's 800-951-4279. What do you have to lose? Call 800-951-4279. Again, 800-951-4279.
Hey, let's talk about some of the greatest living Hoosiers in the state of Indiana, and one of those people is our pal Mark Deal. You know, Zillow ranks Indianapolis number 2 among 2025's hottest markets. Home values have risen and are holding strong. Now is a great time to sell. Hire the team with proven systems to maximize your equity. Sell your home with Mark Deal. Perhaps you're worried with a challenging market you won't sell your home for the price it's worth. Mark Deal guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Sarah in Fountain Square had to say about working with Mark Deedle. After investing in a property in Fountain Square, I ran into some financial trouble and needed to sell the place fast for max dollars. I hired the Mark Deedle team, and they were able to sell my property within weeks for over list price. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Deedle, 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdeedle.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L.com.
Of all the times to buy a new Lincoln, right now is the very best time at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get 0% APR for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Corsair, Nautilus, or Aviator. Plus get a $1,000 Tom Roush Trade Assist bonus. So come get that new Lincoln from Tom Roush Lincoln, where our family's been serving yours for over 53 years.
36-month, 10,000-mile per year lease. 2,500 due at signing. No security deposit required. All offers subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details. Ends 9/30/25.
At Duke Energy, we're making Indiana's energy grid stronger and more resilient, ready for storms and growing energy demands. We're adding more power to the Indiana grid. We're using new innovations and smart technology to restore outages faster. And we're doing it all in cost-efficient ways to keep bills as low as possible while we serve you with reliable energy. Duke Energy, building a smarter energy future. Paid for by Duke Energy shareholders.
The Suburban Indy Home and Outdoor Living Show.
September 19th through 21st at Grand Park.
Shop, compare, and save with over 200 trusted experts.
Tickets are $7 at suburbanindyshows.com.
It's the Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Of course, Casey, we're continuing our conversation now with Erin Sheridan. She is the former senior advisor to Micah Beckwith, who claims artificial intelligence pornography was shared in the lieutenant governor's office. If you missed the first part of the interview, we'll have it posted. You go back and listen to it later. She alleges that the people who were sharing it said the lieutenant governor knew about it, and that she told Micah Beckwith's chief of staff, Sherry Ellis, about this. Casey, go ahead.
I want to get specific. These can just be one-word answers.
Okay.
When you saw the phone, was it a state phone or was it a personal cell phone?
I do not know.
Whose hand was it in?
I don't remember. It was either, I believe that it was Devin, but they were sharing it between themselves. So I do not know who filmed it. I do not know who. I shouldn't say filmed it because it was pretty obvious it was fake.
Who created it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it also was real enough that I knew exactly who it was and what the.
How long was it?
I don't know how long
Was
it was.
it the entire
I can tell
performance?
You,
Was it a 10-second
No.
snippet?
I don't know that. I don't know because I immediately handed it back. I mean, in hindsight, I wish that I would have, paid closer attention. I just didn't.
Mm-hmm. And I'm familiar with the layout of the lieutenant governor's office. Where exactly in the space was this?
Somewhat
By the
to the
cubicles,
side, by
in
the
the front,
cubicles,
in the back,
and by the fireplace.
All right, so we got just a couple minutes left. I want to just kind of reset this for everybody because I do want to make sure that people understand sort of the high level of this because this gets very complex. You are telling us that they told you Micah was aware of this.
Yes.
And you also reported this the day after to the chief of staff of the lieutenant governor.
Yes.
And so she was aware of this too.
Yes.
All right.
And I because I know all of your listeners, or I should say all your friendly fans, Rob, are going to be calling something out about this. There's just nothing. There's nothing here to make up. Everybody wanted to see Micah succeed. We still want to see Micah succeed. I want to make it clear too that I can back up, everything that I'm saying. I'm not going to do it right this second, but I think, once whoever is done looking into this, I'm assuming the Ethics Commission and others are. I'm certain the governor's office is probably looking into things, but there's, he's separately elected, so there's not really a lot that they can do.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to share this story. And real quick, I also want to point out, I think this is important. You have had to spend a lot of your own money getting your own legal counsel to do the right thing.
I did because I think that this interview is going to, first of all, bring up a lot of questions. But I think that I didn't know why I was being contacted. This isn't something that I set up. I did not know this article was coming out. I know that Micah has, sicked his crazies on me. And it's just completely inappropriate. I mean, there's no excuse for this.
Are you worried about being able to find another job at the State House or in government going forward?
I don't think that I'll be able to.
Do you even want to?
Of course, I still believe in this. I do.
And this
I believe in the good of government. I really do. And I've worked for some elected officials who I didn't agree with, but this is different. This is a team of people who are exploiting what we're all doing here. And this isn't about Republicans or Democrats. They're using religion to come in and exploit others. And I don't know if that was one of the reasons, their problem with me. They're open about they don't like Catholics. They're open about their dislike of women in leadership positions. I'm not, and when I say they, I'm going to hold Micah accountable because he's at the top of the chain.
All right.
And
unfortunately we got to go, but I want to thank you for coming in and telling this. I mean, like I said, obviously people are going to make up their own minds, but I really appreciate you taking the time to come in and
I
tell
feel
us
like
the story.
I didn't get to tell my entire story.
Well, hopefully you'll come back.
I will.
Okay.
I will, but I do want to make sure that I appreciate you guys letting me come in here, and I also appreciate you guys speaking up. And I know that you're really disappointed, Rob, because I knew I was rolling the dice, but I know that you had a lot of feelings for Micah, and he was your friend. And then you also got Casey and I involved, and
Yes, as usual, I've
And
ruined
we
everything
put our
for everyone.
faith in it, and it just was like it was so exciting, around this time in January to know that we were going to make a difference, and it's just it's unfortunate that it turned this way.
Yeah.
So
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Pulling his show. Sunny sky at 73 in downtown Indy. Will be in the high 80s this afternoon. I'm Jarrett Lewis. It's now 10:31. ABC announcing Wednesday it's suspending late-night comedy show Jimmy Kimmel Live after Nexstar said it was pulling the show from its ABC-affiliated stations, and the FCC chairman criticized the host. Fox's Chanley Painter.
It's a result of the host comments about the alleged assassin of Charlie Kirk, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. Kimmel claimed the MAGA gang was trying to capitalize on the murder and score political points. SAG-AFTRA issued the statement in support, defending the artists who, quote, have their right to express their diverse points of view. But Sinclair Broadcast Group and Nexstar Media Group, who both own and operate local ABC affiliates, condemned Kimmel's remarks as inappropriate. The Sinclair vice chairman saying, quote, Mr. Kimmel's remarks were inappropriate and deeply insensitive at a critical moment for our country.
Kimmel's show is the second late-night comedy program to be canceled in the past few months after CBS announced it was canceling Stephen Colbert's show. 3 police officers in Pennsylvania dead after being shot by a suspect whom they were trying to serve a warrant to Wednesday. 5 police officers in total were shot in York County. The 2 officers who survived are currently hospitalized in critical but stable condition. The suspect is dead after being hit by return gunfire. And President Donald Trump and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer meeting today on the president's second day in the UK to discuss trade and foreign affairs, including tech investment and steel tariffs. Speaking from the Prime Minister's Chequers estate, the president discussed the trade agreement between the two countries, stating that their bond will be unbreakable.
Today we're making those ties closer than ever before. We've done some things that financially are great for both countries.
The president arrived in the UK yesterday with First Lady Melania Trump. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
20 ribeyes for $35. That's 20 ribeyes for $35 at 2 locations in Indianapolis going on now. 20 ribeyes for only $35 at the corner of South Emerson and Thompson Road. Just look for the big truck. Also in the parking lot across the street from Perry Meridian 6th Grade Academy. Also on the big truck is cases of T-bones, fillets, New York strips, burgers, and a whole lot more. Big truck sale. Marinated chicken breasts too. Don't wait. Big steak sale at 2 different locations at the corner of South Emerson and Thompson Road. Also in the Hardee's parking lot on Meridian across from Perry Meridian 6th Grade Academy. 20 ribeyes for just $35. Don't wait. Everything must go. Big truck sale. That's 20 ribeyes for $35 at the corner of South Emerson and Thompson Road. Also in the Hardee's parking lot on Meridian across from Perry Meridian 6th Grade Academy. Get there before the truck is gone.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
So, where's the lake?
Not here.
But it says Great Lakes Honda of Fishers.
Right. I just don't see a lake.
Well, who needs a lake when you can lease a 2025 Accord SE for $329 a month and 0 down?
That definitely won't soak our bank account.
Oh, it's the old Honda of Fishers.
Great Lakes, great people, great cars.
But no actual lake. Visit our showroom off State Road 37 today. Tax and title fees not included with approved credit through Honda Financial. In-stock new Hondas only. Not combinable with other offers. Loyalty or conquest rebates may apply. Offer ends September 30th. See dealer for details.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
As our loved ones age, ensuring their safety at home becomes a top priority. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I'll be right back with some practical things you can do to reduce the possibility of a fall or injury.
Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Visit cardon.us to find a community near you.
Removing tripping hazards such as rugs and floor clutter is one way to prevent or minimize falls around the home. Another is to position grab bars in the restroom and other common areas where your loved one may need some extra support. Contact your local area agency on aging to inquire about low-cost or free installation services. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access the library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Heat and cool your man cave, attic, garage, or bonus room without adding ductwork with Mitsubishi Electric ductless mini splits.
To find out more, just go to absolutecomfort.org.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit, process, work through the interview we just aired here on the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob, that's Casey. Aaron Sheridan, former senior advisor to the Lieutenant Governor, came on our program, described in detail allegedly viewing and the viewing of and sharing of artificial intelligence pornography in the Lieutenant Governor's office. I'm sure the news will run clips of it throughout the day. We'll post the podcast up if you want to listen. There's a couple takeaways that, in case people missed it, just very high level. Number one, she claims that the people who were viewing and sharing the artificial intelligence pornography said the Lieutenant Governor was aware of it.
Correct.
That he knew that video existed. I think that is very important because Micah has come on Hammer and Nigel multiple times now and in other media outlets and claimed he has no idea about any of this. She, being Aaron Sheridan, also claims that she told Sherry Ellis, the chief of staff for Micah Beckwith, about the video I believe she said the next day. And that she was basically just laughed out of the room, for lack of a better expression.
Right.
And that no action was taken on any of this. So that brings us to this point, which is you either have to, both of these people cannot be telling the truth. The statements are in direct conflict with each other. There's no wiggle room. Oh, the other thing that she said that I think is super important is that Micah's supporters on social media, I've seen this, have attacked her for basically the entire process. They knew, his supporters, because they were naming her, that she was one of the people who was cooperating with law enforcement. And so if they knew, they being Micah's supporters knew, there's no way Micah didn't know. And she said very specifically, even though she had talked to Micah on multiple occasions, Micah never asked her, what do you know about this? What did you see, etc.
Even though he said that he had an internal investigation.
Right. And look, Micah no more did an internal investigation than Diego Morales paid that money back for that trip to India. And they've offered the same amount of proof. So these two statements are in direct contrast with each other. Both of these people cannot be telling the truth. So You have to decide. Now, you, the listener, have to decide, and I encourage everybody to go back and listen to the interview. You have to decide who's telling the truth. Either a woman who has gained absolutely nothing by doing this other than headache and hassle. She's had to spend her own money on legal counsel. She said at the end of the interview, doing this will make her unhireable because she's talking to the media about internal things inside a statewide office holder's office. And has been a part of state government for basically 30 years now.
Right.
Various administrations. She was so respected that she was named the interim auditor at one point for the state of Indiana by the governor of the state. Why would that person make all of this up? Where would you even fathom beginning to make this up?
Right.
So either she's lying or the guy who on this very program we have caught in numerous lies. And at best, inconsistent, conflicting statements. I'm sorry, Casey. I've known Erin for too long. I know who she is as a person, and I don't even agree with her on a bunch of stuff politically. But I know who she is as a person. I know how much she loves the state. I know how much she tried to help Micah. I feel horrible for Erin because I'm the person who recommended her to Micah because I wanted Micah to succeed. And I knew he didn't know what he was doing, and I knew who he was putting around him, and I knew what that would get him. And what it got him is exactly where he's at. And I recommended Erin to Micah because I know her heart, I know her integrity, I know who she is as a person, and I knew she knew how state government actually worked, that it's not the Wild West, that you can't do whatever you want to do, and that she would do everything in her power to try to help him and keep him on track. I just can't believe that she's lying about all of that.
I was going to ask her why she didn't come forward sooner, but she answered that question. She did come forward. She did go to executive level. She went to the chief of staff and said, hey, do you know this is going on?
Yeah, she would have to be, if she's lying, they should lock her in an institution. I mean, you would be dealing with a person that is that disturbed to lie. And you can tell when somebody is, when you're asking them this stuff face to face. And the story's never changed, by the way. I tried multiple times to say, okay, even though I know this person, even though I've known them for years.
You tried to poke holes in it?
And the story's never changed. And you can tell when somebody's sitting across from you. You can tell when you ask them direct, pointed questions, how they answer it. And look, you can think it's a non-story. You can think it's a non-story, and that's fine. There's a reason the General Assembly made this a crime, right? So clearly the General Assembly thought there was something to it. But the bigger story here is it goes to honesty and integrity. That's what this is about. This is about, if she's telling the truth, then the lieutenant governor clearly is not. And I just refuse to believe, knowing her for as long as I have and knowing how she served the state and knowing that you'd have to be a literal insane person to make all that up, that she's lying about all that. I just can't believe it.
A sterling reputation for over 2 decades.
So, anyway, if you missed it, you can go back and listen to it at your leisure. I'm sure WIBC News will have posted in some capacity. We'll hear the clips throughout the day. And now it's up for you to decide. You have two very different stories on what happened, and you can make the call.
Hammer's going to join us next. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, Jimmy Kimmel is out at ABC. So what happened and should it have happened? That after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Has your house become a burden? Why not sell it to us? Simple Quarters is a local Christian company that loves to assist people in difficult situations. Simple Quarters has helped over 3,000 families sell their homes in Indiana.
Wanda's been in real estate. I've been in construction, so she would find properties that we could fix up and resell or rent.
Probably we've flipped about 40 houses.
I don't want to do it anymore. Health is not good. We're in our early 80s. Sometimes you have to give it up.
James, he did a good job. James was very cordial and, like I say, responded to our phone calls and then kept in contact with us. So he did a good job.
When I got the purchase agreement, and he did have things in there that was pertinent to me. It's important.
Yeah, James followed through on what he
Yeah.
said. Did what he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
Other companies make broken promises, but at Simple Quarters, we keep our word. Sell your home to people you can trust. Call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. 317-900-HOME.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. You can say goodbye to cracked, stained, and dirty old floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out the color. Upgrade your home today by calling Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. And they come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. The phone number, 877-417-0635. You can find them online, too. GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com.
So what's in the bag today? Yesterday's leftovers? Another lunch meat sandwich? Well, go ahead and pull up a rock and settle in for a half hour of I wish I was eating something else. Or you could be eating something else, or someplace else. If you're brown bagging it at the corner of 30th and Shadeland area, drop over to His Place Eatery for 30 minutes of why didn't I know about this place sooner? Nothing fancy, not a lot of frills. They save that for the quality of the meal. Like ribs that fall off the bone, southern fried chicken, sides that will cause your taste buds to thank you into tomorrow. Put that in your brown bag and eat it. Better yet, bank the bag. Go to His Place Eatery at the corner of 30th and Shadeland, or the newest location off 86th and Ditch Road. Your dirty boots and work clothes are welcome here. His Place, your place for lunch. Go to hisplaceeatery.com to learn more.
Retirement isn't just about reaching the finish line, it's about knowing how to play the next movement. Without a plan, your savings can feel like noise instead of music. I'm Jason Hutchins with Guardian Wells Financial. I've seen too many families head into retirement without the guidance they need. That's why I wrote Orchestrate Your Retirement, a guide to composing a financially tuned plan. I'd like to mail you a copy at no cost. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929. Inside this book, you'll find real-world strategies on turning savings into income, making smarter Social Security decisions, and reducing a bite of taxes in retirement. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929 for your book today. Don't wait. Supplies are limited, and when they're gone, they are gone. Orchestrate your retirement. Discover the rhythm of a confident future.
Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. Guardian Wells Financial is not affiliated with Creative One Wealth or with any government agency. Licensed insurance professionals.
Call 317-660-0929.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Man, I love seeing the old gang at these reunions. Did you see Brian? He's in better shape than he was 25 years ago. How is that even possible?
Yep, I ran into him a few weeks ago and had to ask. He told me he started taking Nugenix Total T.
The testosterone booster?
Yes, it really works. I started taking it right away and I'm already seeing results.
I was wondering what you were doing. You seriously crushed me in that pickup game last week.
Yep, after 40, energy, strength, drive, it all starts going downhill. But with Nugenix Total T, I feel like my old self again. Stronger, leaner, and my energy is way up. My wife even noticed a difference in the bedroom. They're giving out complimentary bottles right now. Just send them a text.
Text HEFTY to 321-321 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster. Text now and you'll also get a free bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator. That's HEFTY to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Game day starts with the Colts Ultimate Tailgate. Join WIBC October 12th at 9:30 a.m. at the Slippery Noodle for drink specials, games, prizes, and all the pregame fun you can handle. Don't miss Indy's Game Day Kickoff Party. More details at WIBC.com.
You have come up with the best nickname for anyone ever. And I think you should copyright it and put it on the Hammer and Nigel merch store. The Notorious PIG.
Yes. Thank you.
Tell us about the Notorious PIG.
So the Notorious PIG is that big old woman that was a health director at Ball State.
She's a well-fed lady.
Now listen, before I start getting the mean tweets, I can say these things because I'm fat too.
Yeah.
Right? I'm part of the fat community. but I'm also not somebody that should be in charge of health. Right? I'm a little chubby. I'm a borderline alcoholic. I'm probably not somebody fit to be a health director.
Yeah.
And neither was the notorious PIG up at Ball State. And up until yesterday, she still had a job. But she decided to get cute and run her mouth about Charlie Kirk on social media. It created a little bit of a firestorm. And at first, Ball State was kind of like taking a step back here. Hold on, freedom of speech. It looks like they were copping out. But man, the heat got so hot, they ultimately had to dismiss this gal, and she no longer has a job. So this takes us into this whole cancel culture, freedom of speech debate, right? And listen, freedom of speech, I think, really needs to be taught better in schools. Freedom of speech was designed so you cannot go to jail for your thoughts against the government, the country, whatever it is. You can't go to jail. Nobody said put that big old woman in jail. Nobody said that. But you also can't be an idiot where your employer is put in a tough position. Because when Ball State put out their statement as to why they're severing ties with her, they said it was a disruption multiple times to the university. So let's go into cancel culture now, right? I see a lot of folks on the left going, I thought you didn't like cancel culture. I don't think she should be canceled. I don't want her social media to be taken away. I don't want there to be restrictions on her social media. But that's totally different than saying something stupid that embarrasses your employer. Like, go back to COVID, right? There were some doctors in Florida that had different thoughts on COVID. And they got together, they filmed it, they put it on YouTube. They lost their YouTube channel. They lost their reach. Like, they were shadow banned. I don't want that to happen to this woman at Ball State. I don't want it to happen to people that get fired across the country. But you don't have a right to argue with your employer if you embarrass the company.
That's it.
If I go on social media tonight and I start ripping Urban One, oh, they're this and they're that, I shouldn't have my social media shadow banned. I shouldn't be kicked off of social media. But I'm probably not going to have a job.
Right. They have every
the next
right to
day.
say, no, thank you.
And that's what this is about. And I think Dave Portnoy, like, if anybody knows what it's like to try to be canceled, it's that guy, right? The head of Barstool. He put out an interesting thing on Twitter that the difference between cancel culture and being an idiot to your employer, cancel culture is like digging up old tweets from when you were a kid and trying to get over on you that way, wanting you kicked off of social media. But if you say something that embarrasses your employer, that's totally different. It's apples and oranges. I am pro death penalty, but I'm against murder in the streets. It's like somebody arguing, I thought you liked death. No, it's totally different. It's apples and oranges here.
I heard Riley Gaines. She said something that I thought was right on. This isn't cancel culture. This is consequence culture.
Right. I do not want her kicked off of social media. I don't think she should be shadow banned or anything like that. But if you say something stupid that puts your employer in a position to be super defensive and have to deal with the consequences, and let's be honest, you probably don't bring in a whole lot of money for the university, that's going to be an issue.
I just love the name.
The notorious PIG.
I mean, that's got to be a T-shirt at the merch store, the Hammer and Nigel store.
Like, I feel like we're burying the lead, right? How was she in charge of health in any way? Yeah. Like, you look at that woman, it's Miss Piggy in a wig. How are you in charge of health in any way? Again, it'd be like having me lead the health charge. It'd be like having the drummer from Def Leppard leading the group of people with 2 arms. No, it's the total opposite. This woman should not be anywhere near health.
We do have a podcast that's going to drop later today.
We do. We got action tonight, Thursday night football. I will have a play on that.
Heck of a game.
The Dolphins and the Bills. Bills are heavily favorite tonight.
Yeah.
Now, you're really screwing me because as part of the Degenerates Next Door Sports Betting podcast, I have to take the Monday Night Football game. I really want to bet against the Bears so badly because the Cowboys are getting 1.5 points. And unless I just bet a bunch of money on the Bears, they're going to lose every game this season.
You still can. I'm not stopping you.
I know, but for the premise of the show, I felt like I had kind of a freebie there. I mean, fade Chicago.
Throw it into the show. I'm not even mad. But I always pick the Thursday game. You pick the Monday game. And then we have the game of the week. In all actuality, the Monday game is the game of the week.
It is.
But that's kind of your designated segment.
Sure.
So we decided on another game of the week, which is the Eagles and Rams.
Yeah, I don't like that game either. A bunch of games that I...
The Eagles! So much better than... The Eagles!
What are we doing this afternoon? What's going on with the Hammer and Nigel show?
So we have got a fun little program lined up for you. Some Indiana stuff. A lot of stuff happening in our backyard today. You got protests at the State House. You got vigils on the Circle.
Yep.
You got the notorious PIG story. We're all over that. My friend Dee Dee Horan, she is the widow of the fallen Beech Grove police officer, has a fundraiser coming up. And you, Rob Kendall, off the rails.
Thanks, Hammer. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hey, do you have more than $200,000 saved for retirement? You could put that money in the stock market, but you have no idea what will happen with it. Or you could make a smarter move and get a 20% upfront bonus and a competitive return that's averaged more than 10% annually over the last 10 years. Here's the math. If you invest $200,000, you get an upfront $40,000 bonus. That's $240,000, right?
That $240,000 could earn 10% or $24,000 in that first year. So by year's end, your original $200,000 could grow to $264,000. Get all the information by calling Bill Demery, your retirement guy, 317-648-5120, or visit yourretirementguy.com. That's Bill Demery, your retirement guy, 317-648-5120, or visit yourretirementguy.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com. Join Citizens Energy Group for free food, fun, and family-friendly activities at Community Resource Day on Saturday, October 4th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Citizens Energy Group, located at 2020 North Meridian Street. Connector resources, assistance programs, and more. On-site translation services provided by Intrends Inc. Enjoy free food, giveaways, and fun. Community Resource Day is Saturday, October 4th at 10 a.m. Visit citizensenergygroup.com/CRD.
Hello, this is Denny Smith for LD Smith Plumbing. If you've ever dealt with a flooded basement, you know that it's more than just a mess, it's an insurance headache. A sump pump can save you significant trouble and expense. Right now through the end of the month, Lance and his team are offering $850 off sump pump systems. That's much less costly than water damage repairs. Don't wait for the next heavy rain to discover you needed one. Call 317-927-7186 or visit ldsmithplumbing.com today.
You ready to build your custom dream home? Check out Joyner Homes based out of Greenfield. See one of their model homes in person anytime. It is a great way for you to experience the customization and quality of a Joyner Homes custom built home. Plus, you can meet with a new home specialist to learn about their building process. Available lots if you don't already have one. Find out about floor plans and where they build. Model homes are open 7 days a week from noon to 5 and walk-ins are welcome. Find out more at joynerhomes.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The
the Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show.
September 19th through 21st at Grand Park.
Shop, compare, and save with over 200 trusted experts.
Tickets are $7 at suburbanindieshows.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, an Indiana leader is feeling just over a week after Charlie Kirk's assassination. New charges against a 19-year-old, what the Marion County prosecutor is announcing. Who police arrested in a string of recent stolen items, and what the Indiana Fever are facing tonight in Atlanta. Those stories and more next. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. Back to Fox News. It's 11 o'clock.
They don't see eye to eye on Gaza. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
One of our few disagreements, actually.
President Trump standing next to Prime Minister Keir Starmer in Britain, who just said he wants the war to end this way.
The outcome of a safe and secure Israel, which we do not have, and a viable Palestinian state.
Now, the state Britain plans to join other countries in recognizing. President Trump opposes that and says his focus is on...
We have to have the hostages back immediately. That's what the people of Israel want. They want them back, and we want the fighting to stop.
Now, the president also just said Russian leader Vladimir Putin has let him down as the war in Ukraine rages a month after his summit with Putin in Alaska. The president and Starmer both touted a new U.S.-UK technology deal on top of the recent trade agreement. The president says all the investments companies have pledged for the U.S. keep adding up.
We have more than $17 trillion. $17 trillion.
And he added,
that number is going to get significantly higher, especially if we win a certain case that we're waiting to hear.
Referencing the Supreme Court considering his appeal of rulings, the tariffs he imposed on imports from around the world are illegal. Another ruling just out this morning upholds a block on President Trump deporting migrant children who came to the U.S. from Guatemala as unaccompanied minors. The Trump administration says it's trying to reunite them with families. Lawyers for some of the kids claim they fear for their safety being sent back. President Trump also just thanked the British people for their condolences after Charlie Kirk's assassination.
I've never seen anybody relate to youth like Charlie, and they related to him, and they're devastated.
The president was also just asked about ABC taking Jimmy Kimmel's show off the air indefinitely over comments related to the Kirk assassination.
You know, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
Kimmel in recent days had claimed the suspected gunman was right-wing MAGA, though evidence suggests that Tyler Robinson had leftist views and hated Charlie Kirk. The SAG-AFTRA media union's critical of Kimmel's suspension, calling it suppression that endangers everyone's freedom. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The impact fell a week later. All clear on your radar today. Sunny 77 on Monument Circle. The high is 88. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:02, brought to you by Window Nation. Indiana Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith, who says he was a close friend to Charlie Kirk, who was shot and killed last week at a college event in Utah, believes the death is sparking reflection on values and leadership in the faith communities.
You would ask them, Charlie, would you be willing to lay down your life if it meant people would fall more in love with their country and even more in love with their Savior? And he would say, without missing a beat, absolutely.
Beckwith, who is also a pastor, said public figures need to take responsibility for what they say. He added that while free speech exists, it also comes with consequences. Ball State University announced on Wednesday that they fired an employee over their comments made in a social media post about Kirk's killing. 19-year-old Logan Quisenberry is already facing numerous charges for firing shots at a vehicle with a family inside of it while on his motorcycle on I-465 last month. Indiana State Police then found drugs and improvised explosive devices inside his Indianapolis home, and now investigators will look into possible accomplices.
It's been our experience when you're dealing with the variety of narcotics, the amount of narcotics, and then you throw in the possession of a destructive device, that we understand that people very oftentimes are not acting alone.
Prosecutor Ryan Mears said Quisenberry's bond was set at $250,000. Stolen guns and vehicles were recovered across central Indiana this week, while 3 kids were arrested. John Herrick has more.
Police say those things were stolen in Fishers and Indianapolis, which means the FBI got involved. At a Wednesday news conference, special agent in charge of the FBI in Indianapolis, Stephen O'Malley, said the 3 kids they caught are in more trouble than they realize.
I want you to consider the federal consequences to your activities as well.
So, going forward, we will be looking to prosecute people federally who engage in violent crime in this community.
He says they're returning the stolen items to their rightful owners while looking to see who else may have been involved. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
Notre Dame's defense giving up 68 points through its first 2 games, uncharacteristic of the Irish over the past few seasons. Linebacker Kingston Viliamo Asa says there is a way to turn things around.
Just got to go back to playing Notre Dame football. Go back to having great fundamentals, playing with violence, and playing with relentless effort.
Notre Dame takes on Purdue Saturday at 3:30, and the Indiana Fever are facing a win-or-go-home situation tonight. They're in Atlanta for Game 3 of their series with the Dream. Tip-off is at 7:30 Eastern. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the Level on the Go and on WIBC.com.
WindowNation.com for an incredible deal right now in September. You're going to save big this month. Buy 2 windows and you'll get 2 for free. No payments for 2 years. You won't have to deal with monthly payments, a down payment, or even any interest until 2027. I have Window Nation windows. They have brought the energy bills down in my house. My wife and I absolutely love our Window Nation windows.
Window Nation offers a lifetime warranty on all of their windows. So you can relax knowing your home is protected far into the future. And this deal, it's a good one. Buy 2 windows, get 2 for free. Make no payments for 2 years. Nothing down, no payments. You don't have to deal with anything until 2027. 866-90-NATION. Call and talk to a rep. Schedule that free in-home estimate. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
This hour powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Douglas Mini Splits dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
I kind of feel like people have enough politics in their life. I don't feel like they need any more thrown at them.
Yeah, it has entered every single part of your life, hasn't it?
I mean, aren't you... I had this conversation last night. I think I mentioned her. Oh, and the ad about how beautiful my hair is. I have a deer. My neighbor to the other side of me is my old man.
That guy.
But my neighbor to the
Don't you say bad things about your father.
Fireman Scott. He's an awesome neighbor and an Indian Wayne Township firefighter, and we were sitting out with a group of the other neighbors, and we were talking last night, and that's when they mentioned, Rob, how old are you? And I told them how old I was, and they said, no way. And I said,
they think you were younger.
That's right. Baby face and the beautiful hair, and, thanks to the fine folks at We Grow Hair Indy. But we were talking about engagement in government and politics, and we kind of got on how few people actually engage. And one of the things, and we had some totally non-government or political people there, and we were talking about how one of the reasons is there's too much, and it's so overwhelming. And we were talking, he asked, how do you do it? And I said, I live it, right? Like, I just made a horrible life choice to live this. And, once you know... The great Warren Zevon, in describing this country, once said, it's the home of the brave, the land of the free. The less you know, the better off you'll be. And it's like, once you know, and you and I have had this conversation before, right? Now you know. Before you didn't know. And now you know, and once you know, you can't get out of it because you know how rotten it is.
Yes, and there have been many times where I've said, I wish I didn't know. Blissfully unaware.
Yeah, and once your eyes are open to it, you can't, it's the movie They Live. The phenomenal movie in the 1980s. Roddy Piper, the wrestler. I think John Carpenter was the director, the Halloween guy of They Live. And if you've never seen it, do. Roddy Piper is actually a pretty good actor in this movie, as weird as that sounds. But he discovers these glasses that only that have this special power that only he can see, where a bunch of the world is now run by aliens, but you can only see them with the glasses on. And so he sees the world differently than everybody else who is just walking through without the glasses with blinders on. And he sees these aliens and he sees these things for what they actually are. And that's the way it is, right? So for most people, it's overwhelming to even know where to start. And they kind of don't want to start.
Yeah.
Because then once you start, then you see it, then you can't unsee it. And so I just think the last thing people want, that's why so few people engage, that's why so few people actually vote, that's why so few people go to meetings, and it's kind of easier just to bitch about it. But the last thing I think they want is more politics and being thrown at them, taking up primetime television and invading their life. But Trump and the Republicans apparently feel very different.
Well, Donald Trump announced that the Republicans are going to hold a midterm convention before the 26 elections. This to highlight the GOP accomplishments since the 24 presidential win. So he made the announcement on Truth Social on September 16th, and he said, time and place to be determined. It will be quite the event and very exciting. So Republicans currently...
Exciting for who?
Exciting for
Trump.
him.
Yeah. I mean, I just think there's people, by and large, like maybe every 4 years they pay attention. The presidential election kind of gets people a little fired up or engaged or whatever. And I guess there's no harm in doing this because, I mean, the worst thing is nobody cares or nobody goes or...
Do you think a non-presidential convention, though, is going to draw public interest?
Who's the group? What's the big CPAC?
Mm-hmm.
I think it just becomes a glorified CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Committee. They have a big thing every year where all the big political so-and-sos come and speak, and that's it's a group of people that are super into it. But what is there to be fired up about? What is there to engage?
Normally, the presidential conventions or the every 4-year conventions, it's culminates into the main act.
Sure.
And that's the nominee for president.
Sure.
What is the headliner of a midterm convention?
Right. And the other part of it is all the celebrities. Like the shining star, and again, this sounds so weird to say, but the shining star of the Republican convention last year was Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan.
Crazy. Because he cut the crap. He talked as a real person, Terry Bollea, which was his real name, and you never see him do that. That's a guy that never cut his character.
He broke the fourth wall.
And he did. And he said, look, I am Hulk Hogan, but I was born this guy. And this is who I am as an American, right? And this is what I believe in. And that was awesome. You're not going to have that enthusiasm in a midterm convention. I think people are just exhausted a lot of times with politics because it never makes their life any better.
Is this Donald Trump's way to try and turn the spotlight on the House and Senate candidates?
Oh, totally. Totally. And maybe there is no harm in doing it.
Which is interesting coming from Donald Trump because he likes the attention and the spotlight.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if anybody's going to be like, well, I'm so exhausted I'm not going to vote for the Republicans because they had a midterm convention. Now, if they do it, the Democrats will do it.
Well, that's the other thing. They're considering hosting their own midterm convention. The DNC spokesperson said that Trump's move to host a midterm convention is just a form of intimidation.
Intimidation.
And now they're going to be evaluating several options to kind of harness their grassroots energy.
What is intimidating about that? Hey, by the way, I forgot to tell you. In every show, I'm like, I have to tell Casey about this, and I totally forgot, and I'm going to do it now because I'll forget again, and then I'll be mad at myself.
What?
I'm going to a Lincoln Day dinner next week.
Are you?
Yes.
Why haven't you told me this?
I just, every time I think about, I told you.
Which one? When? Where? Why? How? Give it to me.
I told you when I got invited, and then I was like, I'll talk about it as we get closer, and now we're a week away. Oh, I'm going to the Hendricks County one where I live.
Oh, okay.
I was told a bunch of my rowdy friends are going to be there.
Close to home.
And if somebody invited me with the ticket, I mean, I would never pay to give the Republican Party 7 cents.
Who's speaking at it?
I don't even know who the headliner is. I'm obviously there to see some of our fine local folks. By local, I mean a little more closer to the state of Indiana. Don't even care. Got a ticket to get in. I can say this. I did get a call, this was a while ago, from the county chairman, and we had a nice chat about my appearance. And here's what I always say about me going to these things. Don't start none, won't be none. However, that doesn't mean that I won't, if some of our specific friends are there, once again engage them in a conversation as a taxpayer of this state about certain actions they've been taking. Now, if they have viable answers, that should be a complete non-starter. It only becomes something because most of these people are so full of crap that every time they open their mouth, for the most part, there's a lie coming out of it. So yes, I'm going to be attending that next week, next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
I'll be there.
So a week from today.
A week from today.
Okay.
And everybody will be very glad to see me. I'm sure at the Republican Lincoln Day.
Is your bouncer going with you? Your bodyguard?
Well, yeah, I'm not. And
the person who tempers things down for you?
I'm not going alone.
I'm not talking about myself.
I'm not going alone. I have a Republican in good standing who invited me to be their guest, as I often do at these little soirees. And so I'm hoping some of our finest will be there. Oh, Jim Jordan is the speaker. I've seen him before. Wasn't great.
Oh. Okay.
I wasn't like wowed. Like I didn't want to run out and storm the Bastille afterwards. But I'm sure he'll do fine.
It'll be great.
You should have me be the speaker.
You'll enjoy a rubber chicken dinner. What would you say?
We do it 9 to noon every day. What do you mean? What would I say?
I know. That was a layup for you.
Maybe our bosses would get mad, but maybe one day I should just give the speech that I would give.
You should.
Well, the problem is though, you got to they're not like 20 minutes. Should I do that next week? Should we do a whole segment where I'll give the
If you were
the
speaking
speech?
at a Lincoln Day dinner, this is what you would say?
Would you guys in listener land, would you like that? Would that be fun and ahead of the Hendricks County Lincoln Day dinner that I give the speech that I would give if I were the featured speaker?
Tiptoeing up to a campaign there, Rob.
No. I'm just saying for fun. Should we do? Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
It's half your show.
You should totally do that.
And that would be all me speaking.
I know. You should totally do it. That's it exactly.
Okay, we'll do that. Over the weekend, I will write
your speech
that I would give at the Hendricks County Lincoln Day dinner if I were the featured speaker.
Yeah, I like this.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then we can compare the two.
Very good.
Nikki Kelly is going to join us next from Indiana Capital Chronicle.
She's got all the info on how much money the state could potentially be making giving these beds in Miami. The correctional facility to the illegal immigrants. This is like incredible amounts of money.
She's up next on 93 WIBC.
Sun's up, the coffee is brewing, and Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the morning news. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling, BOOHER, BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with a free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. BOOHER, BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Bet365 is paying out before the final whistle.
Check out Bet365's unrivaled early payout offer. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 17-point lead, you get paid no matter the final score. Forget the final whistle and start counting that cash. Hold up. You get early payout on parlays, too.
Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Indiana. T&Cs apply.
So as always, there's so much going on with Indiana politics and government. Let's get to the bottom of at least some of it. And as we do each week, we bring in one of the best in the business. Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capital Chronicle joins us now. Nikki Kelly, hello.
Hello.
All right, so the big, several big stories to get to. First of all, are we making money? What is going on with us housing the illegal immigrants in Miami?
Yeah, we are going to make money, probably a fair amount. The federal government's going to pay us $292 per day per detainee. In comparison, what the state cost for housing its own inmates at Miami is $75 a day.
Oh my gosh! And so, like, how many are we talking about?
Well, they can take up to 1,000. But the way the 2-year contract is written is after like some initial startup. So after the first 120 days, the federal government's guaranteeing a minimum payment of 450 people per day, even if they don't have 450 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they're definitely going to make money. So the state budget committee approved some $16 million worth of kind of upgrades and security things they needed in place before we start accepting detainees. That per diem rate should take care of that pretty quickly.
Wow. So this could be like a new business model for the state of Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, they were very honest. It is a for-profit venture. They almost, I think Representative Ed Delaney even said, you're talking of this like it's an economic development, thing. And they said, well, yeah, kind of is.
So are our people going to secure that prison? Like, how does that work?
So this is the only slight thing is the reason they're not using those beds as is because they don't have enough guards. And where my correctional is, they just can't entice people to come be guards in that area. There's not like a huge city to pull from or anything like that at the rate. So they're also, to do that, to try to fill these guard positions, they're upping the pay from like $24 an hour to $28 an hour to try to entice people to take those positions. And they're going to build some temporary housing for them at Miami. So basically people could come in from another city, work their shifts, for a few days, then go back, and they'd have some housing on site.
Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capital Chronicle is our guest. Is there any pushback? Has anybody said this is a bad idea?
I mean, obviously, the Democrats on the committee expressed concern about using facilities for, rounding up people and sending them back. They obviously disagree philosophically with how some of that is being handled. They wanted to make sure they're treated well and have access to attorneys and things like that. But, there wasn't huge pushback, no.
Okay, well, let's transition to something where there was huge pushback, and you guys had a big expose on this over at IndianaCapitalChronicle.com. And this is Susie Jaworski, the energy secretary. She was speaking at the Indiana Fiscal Policy Institute, and she came out and said she thinks these energy development people should, well, she didn't say consider, she basically said should be suing these counties that are standing in their way. What have you heard the fallout has been? A lot of people that listen to this program not happy about that.
Yeah, she was very strident, even stronger than I think anyone expected. And I kind of wonder if she was told to tone it down after that. Now, the suing comment does need to be clear. She's talking about specific instances in which companies in her mind are strung along, that a community will string them along for months to years, and then at the last minute, vote against a project. She's very upset about that type of thing happening. Now, if you just have a moratorium and you're clear that there's a moratorium, obviously there's no lawsuit for that. But yeah, I mean, she thinks these local communities are standing in the way of progress, whether that be wind and solar or data centers or anything else that could help the energy grid.
It seems like it comes off very out of touch with where the people are in these communities. because I think a lot of the concern is genuine from people in these communities. And it appeared to be a pretty flippant response from her about people who have the right to have some say in what goes on in their backyard.
Yeah, but I think that's what I've been hearing I've heard similar, though more nuanced responses from other state officials. You know, they are frustrated because, and mayors are frustrated because, you know, if you want all the things you want in your community and you don't grow your tax base, you know, it's the whole like you either grow or you die. And so they feel like these, you know, we don't want that. We don't want that. You know, it's everything. We don't want the Wawa. We don't want the data center. We don't want the solar farm. We don't, you know, is really causing a concern if they can't grow their community, they can't grow their tax base. You know, there's no way to grow, period. And so I think she was not as artful as some I've heard in the past, but I definitely picked up on that frustration from leaders in the state.
Do you have any idea, because we had James Briggs and Jacob Stewart from the Indy Star, and they had a fabulous back and forth on the Google data center proposed in Franklin Township the other day. Do you have any idea what the actual, like, I feel like the government does a horrible job explaining what the benefit of having these developments here are. Do you understand them? I mean, other than the building itself and the property tax that will eventually pay after the abatement expires, I don't see much because there's no jobs associated with it. Has the government explained it to you on what the benefit is, other than the property tax the building will pay?
I mean, they definitely need to be better about explaining that. I do know that some people in the Braun administration believe that data centers are the way to basically modernize and pay for improvements to our electric grid by, like, basically putting that on, you know, a new business customer. So they're trying to kind of wring what they can out of these data centers who want to come in here by promising, you know, to help the grid and pay for all the upgrades that we would, in their minds, we're already going to need. So if we're already going to need to improve the grid and upgrade infrastructure and increase energy capacity and generation, then why don't we let these big corporate people pay for it?
They got to do a better job of articulating what the benefits are, because I think most people are in the camp that I'm in. It sounds like you're in as well, that they just don't spell it out, and that's why I think a lot of people recoil on this.
Yeah, they're not packaging it well at all.
All right, before we let you go, speaking of the governor, you guys had another big expose on this, that he basically came out and made it sound like, at least, that they are heading towards a special session in November. Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think they have the votes?
Well, you know, I know that right now they don't have the votes, but I know that they have more than they did when they started. So I think it's an event, like when he said it's an inevitability, that was his phrasing. I think that's what he means. They are just slowly working on lawmakers to get them to the yes side, with an eye toward a November session.
It seems very rigged to me, because if you did that in November, that would only give someone basically 2 months to decide if they're running for Congress and put a campaign together. And that would seem to dramatically limit the pool of people who could participate in the new election process.
Well, I imagine if you want to run for Congress, you've already decided that now, and probably are putting your campaign together now. I'm not sure, since they're going to, and since in Congress you don't have to live in your district. I mean, it's generally, quote, frowned upon, but not illegal. But now you could say, well, sorry, I didn't know where my district was, so I put my plan together, and I'm sticking with my plan, kind of thing.
Yeah, I've made a whole living broadcasting on things that are generally frowned upon but not illegal. So yeah, I guess I can appreciate that. All right. One of the best in the business. We love the Indiana Capital Chronicle. Find them at indianacapitalchronicle.com. Nikki Kelly, thank you.
Have a good day.
Yeah, it's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. That's 800-883-3024.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Saying they did the right thing. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith applauding Ball State University for deciding to fire an employee that made insensitive comments about Charlie Kirk after he was assassinated.
Well, I think universities like Ball State need to take action. When you're an educator, you have to live up to a higher standard. You have to be above reproach. And what I've seen from some of these educators is just despicable. They've been celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder.
Beckwith said educators should be held to a higher standard. Police in Shelbyville arresting a woman after her 22-month-old child was found unresponsive. Sophie Igo has been charged with neglect of a dependent causing death. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office is bringing more charges to 19-year-old Logan Quisenberry after police say they found drugs and explosives in his home. And the Fever take on the Dream tonight in Atlanta, trying to advance to the second round of the WNBA playoffs. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Casey, I was so excited for you a couple of years ago. You got to live out your life dream of going to church with me.
Yes, I did.
And luckily, anybody else can as well, because Life Church has 4 campuses across central Indiana. Casey's life was forever changed for the better by going to Life Church, and yours could be too. Now, we go to the Eagle Creek campuses, but they got 4 campuses across central Indiana. We love Pastor Mike at Eagle Creek, but Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, plus they got awesome online services. Learn more about it all on the web, lifechurchin.com.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Join Citizens Energy Group for free food, fun, and family-friendly activities at Community Resource Day on Saturday, October 4th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Citizens Energy Group, located at 2020 North Meridian Street. Connector resources, assistance programs, and more. On-site translation services provided by Intrends Inc. Enjoy free food, giveaways, and fun. Community Resource Day is Saturday, October 4th at 10 a.m. Visit citizensenergygroup.com/CRD.
Retirement isn't just about reaching the finish line, it's about knowing how to play the next movement. Without a plan, your savings can feel like noise instead of music. I'm Jason Hutchins with Guardian Wells Financial. I've seen too many families head into retirement without the guidance they need. That's why I wrote Orchestrate Your Retirement, a guide to composing a financially tuned plan. I'd like to mail you a copy at no cost. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929. Inside this book, you'll find real-world strategies on turning savings into income, making smarter Social Security decisions, and reducing a bite of taxes in retirement. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929 for your book today. Don't wait. Supplies are limited, and when they're gone, they are gone. Orchestrate your retirement. Discover the rhythm of a confident future.
Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. Guardian Wells Financial is not affiliated with Creative One Wealth or with any government agency. Licensed insurance professionals.
Call 317-660-0929.
Heat and cool with nearly geothermal efficiency in places you can't fit ductwork with Mitsubishi Electric Ductless Mini Splits.
Just go to AbsoluteComfort.org. That's AbsoluteComfort.org.
Hey, great news, Casey.
Oh, good. What is it?
Things are probably going to get more expensive.
Oh, that's not great news.
Okay, so the Federal Reserve came out yesterday, and they finally gave in to Trump's bullying, and they cut the interest rates, which is beyond stupid. And now all that means is that rich people will get money cheaper, and you're not going to see much benefit, and everything's going to get more expensive for the rest of us. So welcome to America, because Trump made stupid decisions with tariffs, and he's trying to make you think, just like they did during COVID, that you can do major disruptions to the economy without disrupting your way of life or your financial position. They're going to essentially cheat by cutting the interest rates, which will just drive inflation and make it even worse.
So-
Great.
So they cut the interest rate by 0.25 percentage points. I mean, it wasn't a big cut. It was just a little baby cut.
Oh, but it has a profound impact on what was the number?
0.25 percentage points. It went from 4.25% to 4%.
Okay, that doesn't sound like much, but it's a ton. Like if your mortgage were 4.25 versus 4, that would probably be hundreds of dollars, depending on the amount of the actual mortgage itself. And again, the Fed is supposed to weigh the economy
and jobs.
And jobs and inflation. The economy now is having structural issues because of Trump.
Yeah, right now inflation is elevated still. August CPI was 2.9%.
Which is way better than when it was, 5, but it's still not great. And again, he's trying to do all this stuff at once. It creates great instability. And then he's trying to cover it up instead of going to the American people, if he truly believed in it, and saying, look, I so believe in this, we're going to feel a little pain for a little bit, and we'll come out on the other side better. No, they're trying to cover it up just like they did in COVID. Remember what they did in COVID? They printed all that money, and they threw it at everybody. And then a bunch of it ended up being, hundreds of billions of dollars ended up being, fraudulent and everything else. And what happened? All the prices soared. He's essentially done the same thing because COVID was a mixture of, one, the money printing, but also cutting off the ability to get stuff. Well, now he's cut off the ability to get stuff. And he's printing he's going to essentially make money cheaper to get, which will cook the economy, which will cause inflation.
So the Fed still has this commitment to a 2% inflation target, though they're saying we're not going to reach that until 2028, if ever. But he also signaled that there might be 2 more rate cuts before the year is over.
We're done. I mean, we'll just pack it up, right? When you see, we said this yesterday, when you see Susie Jaworski, the energy secretary for the state of Indiana in Braun's cabinet, having zero shame in saying that these energy companies, these energy project companies should sue municipalities if they don't get their way, we're toast. If that's our government position, that local governments should get sued if they don't do what these mega companies want, who's looking out for us? And I'll ask the question about this. Who's looking out for you? Who's looking out for you to be able to afford food and gas and rent? Nobody. Trump knows the ramifications of these tariffs, and instead of leveling with the populace, he's going to make everything more expensive for you for doing things the right way.
So the Fed said that the labor market is entering a low hiring phase, and that, of course, is going to impact a lot of younger people. And on housing, he said the deeper problem is still the nationwide housing shortage. When it comes to the, what's her title? Secretary of Energy?
Yes, Susie Jaworski.
Susie.
Yes.
I'm wondering, though, if she said that because of concerns about national security when it comes to data centers.
No, she said, I can't say that. See, if the notorious PIG had just taken a course, that Ball State lady had just taken the Rob Kendall course of, sometimes there's things you want to say, but you can't say.
Right.
She'd still be in a much better position,
Still
right?
have a job.
She said that because people like Susie Jaworski believe that they are the smartest people and entitled to do whatever they want to do in any room they're in.
Okay.
That was so asinine to say local governments should be sued because they don't do what a wind or solar company or a data center wants them to do. Jacob Stewart was right. for the Indy Star columnist when he and Briggs had that debate back and forth.
Right.
If the federal government wants all this stuff so bad, and indeed it is national security,
then they should pay for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that would be more printed money, which would make everything more expensive. But if they actually believed it, they would cut other places. They could use that money to offset. But don't forget, at the end of this rainbow, the pot of gold doesn't go to the U.S. taxpayer. It'll go to Google. It goes to these powerful companies. Everybody's getting rich off us but us. Do you ever stop and think about that? How everybody's getting rich off of us but us. Look at what happened during COVID. Who got wealthy? The tippy-top people expanded their wealth. Who got wealthy? The governments, the state government, the local governments. Who got poor? Us. And it happens every time the government gets involved with stuff.
Ron DeSantis, just 2 hours ago, he tweeted this out. There isn't even close to enough grid capacity for these data centers. Consumers will see electricity rates spike. And to what end?
It's never going to end. They will never let it stop. You cannot believe a word Braun says because he lies about everything. You cannot believe that he's that stupid that he didn't know signing a bill that about with those SMRs, the small modular reactors, that the utility companies get to recoup 80% of their investment, whether it works or not, isn't going to raise people's bills. He's not a stupid man. He knows. And by the way, when these lawmakers talk about, like Braun, talk about the SMRs as being some sort of silver bullet, if it's settled science and it's going to work so great, then why did they have to pass a special law that makes us, the ratepayer, pay for this technology whether it works or not? If it's all going to work great, these utilities should be sprinting to get these things off the ground. They had to do that because the utilities won't invest in it because it isn't settled and they can't power anything with it right now of note in terms of communities, etc.
All right, well, you might as well just sit back and have a beer. That's raised. The price of beer has gone up.
Oh, it's going up.
Well, let's talk about this. Beer, 29%, the cost of it, 29% in the past decade. It's gone
That's
up.
beer.
Beer, just beer. Beer for home consumption. Like you go to the grocery store, you buy a 12-pack, you bring it home. Beer, not out at the bar or out of the club or wherever else you're going. So overall inflation has risen 35%. Grocery prices have risen 37%. But beer, 29%.
So we're beating this is over what time period?
Over the past decade.
Okay, so beer is up 29%.
But it is it's faster than any other alcohol category average. So the cost of beer has risen then higher and faster than any other alcohol.
And that is because of the products in beer, I would guess, what it takes to make beer. And because of that, and there's so many things that go into it, that's why. I got a buddy who owns a brewery. I might reach out to him. Maybe he'll come on and tell us about why that is. I got a couple friends that own breweries. I should have bought a brewery.
The average price of a 12-pack has gone from $11.62 to $16.39. So we've got a couple brands for you. If you want to save some money. The highest increase in the cost, Sam Adams. They've increased 71%.
Wow.
Yeah.
You ever had a Sam Adams? I can honestly say I've never had a Sam Adams.
Yeah, I've had one. It's not a go-to. Dos Equis has risen 58%. Now, if you want to be a little bit more conservative, the lowest increase, Blue Moon and Heineken.
Blue Moon is the lowest increase.
They've only risen 27%. Heineken only 31%. But you're thinking, but Casey, what about just Coors Light, Miller Lite?
Yeah.
Even Budweiser.
But Casey, what about Coors Light, Miller Lite?
Or Bud Light, Budweiser. They've risen 36%. Corona and Modelo, 35%. So your cheapest beer right now, if you're taking into consideration inflation, is Blue Moon and Heineken.
You know, one thing I learned the other day.
What's that?
Is that the little bottle shots that you can buy at the liquor store. You know, there's
like the ones you get on an airplane, like the travel.
Yeah. Those were $1, and now they're $1.05. I noticed that. I was watching her scan them, and I was looking at it, and then she starts looking at me, the lady that was the little, woman running the register, and she just keeps looking at me, and I'm looking at it, and I'm peering at it, and I can see she's staring at me, and I finally just go, "You don't want to know." I'm the only person in the world who noticed that.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon. Rob Kendall joins us to go off the rails. The latest on the Charlie Kirk investigation and the biggest stories in Indy.
20 ribeyes for $35. That's 20 ribeyes for $35 at 2 locations in Indianapolis going on now. 20 ribeyes for only $35 at the corner of South Emerson and Thompson Road. Just look for the big truck. Also in the parking lot across the street from Perry Meridian 6th Grade Academy. Also on the big truck is cases of T-bones, fillets, New York strips, burgers, and a whole lot more. Big truck sale. Marinated chicken breasts, too. Don't wait. Big steak sale at 2 different locations. At the corner of South Emerson and Thompson Road. Also in the Hardee's parking lot on Meridian across from Perry Meridian 6th Grade Academy. 20 ribeyes for just $35. Don't wait. Everything must go. Big truck sale. That's 20 ribeyes for $35 at the corner of South Emerson and Thompson Road. Also in the Hardee's parking lot on Meridian across from Perry Meridian 6th Grade Academy. Get there before the truck is gone.
Hey guys, it's Rob, and well, I'm not as young as I used to be, but I sure look it. And that's thanks to our friends at We Grow Hair Indy. Look, a lot of natural work has gone into this beautiful appearance, but I would be remiss in not being honest with you if I didn't say a big part of it was the fine folks, Darren and the gang at We Grow Hair Indy. Now, here's how it worked for me, and here's how it can work for you. You call today, 522-2995. 317-522-2995. You schedule your totally free, no hassle, no obligation consultation. Then, Darren and the gang, they are top-notch individuals at We Grow Hair Indy. They'll take a look at what you got going on up top, and they'll make some recommendations on how you can get your hair back and your confidence back. Then it is up to you. See some other folks who have made the choice to get their confidence back by heading over to WeGrowHairIndy.com. WeGrowHairIndy.com and call today, 317-522-2995.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or Sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's 4 walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
There's just something special about late summer at Wilson Farm Market. The sweet corn's still crisp, the tomatoes are juicy, and the cucumbers taste just like the summer should. Stop by with the family, fill your basket with fresh produce, grab some hot, fresh fried chicken, pick up homemade jams, and select from hundreds of cheeses to make every meal something special. And don't forget that famous pretzel bread. It's always a hit at the dinner table. 20 minutes north of Carmel on 31 in Arcadia. Online at wilsonfarmmarket.com. That's wilsonfarmmarket.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Miss M's Home and Garden's annual fall open house is this Saturday. Visit Johnson County's premier garden center for all things fall family fun. And new this year, a selection of kids' games all day, including a pumpkin launcher. Local music by Acoustic Catfish from 11 until 2. Mallow Run Winery starting at 11. Pearl Coffee from 9 until 4. And Scoops and Treasures Ice Cream Truck from 2 until 4. Shop all day to get door prizes and enter to win giveaways. Miss M's on State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville.
So where's the lake?
Not here.
But it says Great Lakes Honda of Fishers.
Right. I just don't see a lake.
Well, who needs a lake when you can lease a 2025 Accord SE for $329 a month and 0 down?
That definitely won't soak our bank account.
Oh, it's the old Honda of Fishers.
Great Lakes, great people, great cars.
But no actual lake. Visit our showroom off State Road 37 today. Tax and title fees not included with approved credit through Honda Financial. In-stock new Hondas only. Not combinable with other offers. Loyalty or conquest rebates may apply. Offer ends September 30th. See dealer for details.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it! Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Catch Emmer and Nigel live from the Fall Home and Outdoor Living Show this Friday from 3 to 7 p.m. at the Grand Park Events Center in Westfield. They'll be checking out over 200 vendors, home displays, and all the fun happening at the show.
Okay, we got to get to South Park, but first, people have been kind of going back and forth on this because, was this 2 hours ago? 2 hours ago. It all goes by so fast.
Mm-hmm.
We got into, well, it was with Nikki Kelly, amongst other, we talked with her a little bit about it, but we got into how the state of Indiana stands to make a bunch of money off housing these illegal immigrants. They're going to be put at the Miami Correctional Facility. And it came out, could be ultimately hundreds of millions of dollars by the time it's all said and done. Now, it could be in the tens of millions. It just depends on how many people are there, et cetera. And people are rightfully so making the point. We're talking about Indiana making money. Well, that's our money to begin with. They're paying, well, they're printing money and then paying it to us. So it's our money. We're getting our own money. Yes. And I've said this all the many times. Correct. However, they're going to put these people somewhere. They're going to do this somewhere. Some state is going to be the beneficiary. It's not like that. And we should want them to do this. We as a nation, of all the things we bitch about our government spending money on, detaining and as quickly as possible shipping out illegal immigrants and making sure they're not on the streets should be something we should all go, yeah, that's probably a good use of our money. There's a million things we can look at and go, never. But if it's going to happen and somebody's going to be the beneficiary of that and they're going to do it somewhere, as we should want them to do.
Why not Hoosiers?
Why wouldn't we want that to be us? That's all I'm saying. That I'm not disputing that, of course, it's our money. We pay it in, et cetera. But if somebody's going to get the money, it might as well be us. And we're doing our part to help our nation.
Yeah, under that agreement, ICE is going to pay Indiana a per diem rate of $291.94 for each detainee per day. And that's much higher than the standard.
All right. What's going on with South Park?
Well, they were supposed to release another episode, and it got delayed hours before airtime.
Oh, wow.
It's the 5th episode of season 27, and Trey Parker and Matt Stone said, this one's on us. We didn't get it done in time.
Yeah,
You're not buying that?
No, because here's the thing. South Park has always been able to work, like world events happen. They put out a new episode the next week. I don't believe that for a second. And you do wonder if, I'm not saying it was, but obviously Charlie Kirk had been a part of this season and they had been mocking him, which is fine. There's no problem pre his assassination, people getting poked fun at, etc. You do wonder if he was part of these episodes and they just simply saw the backlash.
Yeah, a new episode didn't air last week either.
And so maybe they just said, hey, we got to have some more time to come up with new scripts, etc., because we're not going to take the heat, which is, it does show you how much South Park has changed because they had previously, if indeed that's the case, always been willing to take the heat over just about anything. I mean, that was part of why people watch South Park, is it was offensive to everyone, but they may have said even that with this one, it's too much smoke and we don't
want any part of that. Yeah, so the episode that you're talking about is called Got a Nut, and that featured Cartman, who was doing a parody of Charlie Kirk. That was episode 2 of this past season. And that episode was pulled from Comedy Central, and it's not being rerun on cable either. It is still available to stream on Paramount Plus.
And then, I come back to, they have many times poked fun of people who had untimely deaths. And so I do wonder now if they've just changed, or perhaps, Paramount stepped in and was like, no, we're not. Maybe it wasn't them.
Mm-hmm.
It may have been that they were prepared to go out with it, knowing those guys, and Paramount may have stepped in and said, no, we're not going to allow you to air anything with him. I'm not saying that is what happened. I just find it very unusual because part of the selling point of South Park has always been they can be more timely because of how they put the product together, that all of a sudden they just ran out of episodes or something.
Yeah, Comedy Central's going to be re-airing older episodes during the gaps, but they're supposed to release a new one now on September 24th. So we'll see what that's all about.
I know we just got a couple minutes left here in the program. I want to say today's show, I'm proud of every show we do, and I'm proud that, the product we put out. Today's show, though, I'm especially proud of because we hit so many things that are so important to people, or that matter to people, or that people are interested in. And, it's everything from school referendums and property taxes to these allegations on artificial intelligence, pornography, and, the stuff with the prisons. I mean, like all of these things. And I'm always proud of our audience because we push the envelope and we go places that other shows don't go, into areas other shows don't go, because we think you can handle it, and we think you can handle the diversity, and we think you're intellectually capable of processing and being interested in these things. And so I just want to say thank you to you, our audience, for sticking with us through all of this stuff, because it allows us to get to a bunch of different places that maybe some other shows or television shows or, media outlets can't do, because we have faith in you that you can handle. So I just want to say thank you to our audience today. You guys were great, and we really appreciate you giving us the freedom to go to all these different places.
That's going to do it for us today. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Caleb and Kevin. And thank you for listening. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Matt Bear. You've probably heard Dr. Nick Wilson on WIBC weekends. But what you may not know is that I've been going to Restructured Chiropractic for years. They've helped me tremendously. If you're waking up with the same nagging neck or back pain every day, even after stretching, icing, or trying to push through, it's time for a better plan. Dr. Wilson is now offering you a chance to sit down with his doctors for a full spine and nervous system assessment. You'll get a complete consultation, exam, posture and nerve scans, any needed x-rays, a full status report, and most importantly, a personalized natural health plan for recovery. It's normally over $250, but right now you can get the whole package for just $88. Stop managing the pain, start fixing the real problem. Text RELIEF to 317-749-0677 to claim it. 317-749-0677. Check out more at BeRestructured.com.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell & Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com.
Of all the times to buy a new Lincoln, right now is the very best time at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get 0% APR for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Corsair, Nautilus, or Aviator. Plus get a $1,000 Tom Roush Trade Assist bonus. So come get that new Lincoln from Tom Roush Lincoln, where our family's been serving yours for over 53 years.
36-month, 10,000-mile-per-year lease, 2,500 due at signing. No security deposit required. All offers subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details. Ends 9/30/25.
98 years of quality and comfort with Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Since 1927, our family-owned store has been your trusted source for top brands like Lazy Boy, Flex Steel, Tempur-Pedic, and Smith Brothers. Hey, this is Spencer Thompson, and right now, during our 98th anniversary sale, save up to 50% off on furniture and mattresses, plus free delivery, interest-free financing, and extra discounts for cash. Hurry, sale ends Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is back at the racing capital of the world. This sports car racing event, September 19th through 21st, is different than anything you've seen at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sunday the 21st, it's the TireRack.com Battle on the Bricks. And now the race runs 6 hours. The paddock is open for fans all weekend long. Infield camping opportunities make this a can't-miss weekend. Kids 15 and under are free with a paid adult. Get your tickets at IMS.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
The Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show.
September 19th through 21st at Grand Park.
Shop, compare, and save with over 200 trusted experts.
Tickets are $7 at suburbanindieshows.com.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up.
I bet that he's going to be appalled if.
And I think what Ball State is doing is appropriate to say, listen, we're not going to put up with this.
He just wanted to take care of youth. He loved youth.
We are housing them. We're feeding them.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
What was in the video and who saw it? Skies are sunny and it's 81 degrees in the Circle City. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. You might have heard that there was a deep fake AI video showing the wife of Representative Craig Haggard of Mooresville being topless earlier this year. Erin Sheridan used to be the senior advisor to Indiana Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith. She says some of Beckwith's staff members watched the video while they were at work.
Well, I've met Representative Haggard, and I bet that he's going to be appalled if he knows that his good friend Micah, his staff is showing this video.
That's Sheridan this morning in an interview with 93 WIBC's Kendall Casey. She says those staff members showed her the video, and this is what she said in response.
And I said, hey, do me a favor and send that to Representative Haggard. And if he's okay with that video, I am too. And looking back, that was so misguided on my end.
Sheridan says she should have told them to send that to Haggard's wife to see what she thought of it. Sheridan was fired from her position in Beckwith's office in July.
Are you worried about being able to find another job at the State House or in government going forward?
I don't think that I'll be able to.
Beckwith says his office has done an internal investigation and they never found a video. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office has been looking into it. What Beckwith is doing, though, is defending Ball State's decision to fire an employee over a post about Charlie Kirk's assassination. Ryan Hedrick reports.
Micah Beckwith says the firing shows that people in the public eye need to be responsible for what they say, especially when they're dealing with students.
I'm all for free speech, but there is consequences to your speech. And I think what Ball State is doing is appropriate to say, listen, we're not going to put up with this. You need to hold yourself to a higher standard if you are an educator.
Kirk was a political activist who co-founded Turning Point USA. He was shot and killed while speaking to people on a debate stage in Utah. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
President Trump saying today that he thought Kirk could have been a future president.
He just wanted to take care of youth. He loved youth. I've never seen anybody relate to youth like Charlie, and they related to him. And they're devastated.
Trump and his wife Melania are in the United Kingdom right now. The president did say that he will be in Arizona this weekend to speak at Kirk's memorial. ICE detainees could start arriving at Miami Correctional Facility on October 1st. State leaders say Indiana's preparing to house up to 1,000 of them under a federal contract.
We are housing them. We're feeding them, giving them medical care. They're getting their legal rights, everything they have, obtained to them. We're clothing them.
That's Correction Commissioner Lloyd Arnold telling a state budget committee that the Department of Correction wants $16 million for upgrades, and they'll charge the federal government $291 per detainee per per day. If you're not a fan of data centers, then you might agree with what some Hoosiers are saying in northern Indiana. Johnette Cruz reports.
A new data center proposed for New Carlisle is facing pushback. The St. Joseph County Area Plan Commission has given an unfavorable recommendation to the $12 million project, which could bring in up to $22 million in annual tax revenue. County Council President Dan Schetzel says he's hearing from residents who are tired of data center projects and that leaders must consider the impact on neighbors. He says he doesn't believe the County Council will approve the project when they vote on it on September 23rd. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Social media and eating disorders. Are those two things connected? That story and more next on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, Jimmy Kimmel is out at ABC. So what happened and should it have happened? That after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Well, Tony, with ABC suspending Jimmy Kimmel Live, supporters expressed anger and disappointment while critics celebrated the move. Fox's Tanya J. Powers.
President Trump's Truth Social post congratulated ABC for the action, then urged NBC to do the same with late-night hosts Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers. A statement from the ACLU said that FCC Chair Brendan Carr's call on ABC affiliates to not carry Kimmel's show is a, quote, grave threat to our First Amendment freedoms. The Screen Actors Guild called it suppression and retaliation. ABC, which is owned by Disney, suspended Kimmel after Nexstar Communications Group said it would pull the show. Both Disney and Nexstar have upcoming business before the FCC. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Could there be a connection between social media and eating disorders? Kathy Goodpaster is a psychologist at the Cleveland Clinic, and she says studies show something significant there.
Social media exposure leads to body dissatisfaction, which in turn increases risk for eating disorders.
She says what social media accounts we follow are going to impact what we come to view as normal. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office is tacking on more charges for an Indianapolis man caught in a road rage incident. Jarrett Lewis reports.
19-year-old Logan Quisenberry is already facing numerous charges for firing shots at a vehicle with a family inside while on his motorcycle on I-465 last month. Indiana State Police then found drugs and improvised explosive devices inside his home. Now, investigators will look into possible accomplices.
It's been our experience when you're dealing with the variety of narcotics, the amount of narcotics, and then you throw in the possession of a destructive device, that we understand that people very oftentimes are not acting alone.
Prosecutor Ryan Mears said Quisenberry is being held on a $250,000 surety bond. Jarrett Lewis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And the Indiana Fever face the Atlanta Dream in a decisive Game 3 of the first round of the WNBA playoffs tonight, with the winner moving on to the next round and the loser going home. The Fever have not advanced past the first round of the playoffs since 2015. Tip-off tonight at 7:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. I'm John Herrick on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Douglas Mini Splits dealer.
Live from the heartland and the crossroads of America, it's Tony Katz Today.
Do not ask me to shed a tear for Jimmy Kimmel. That dog won't hunt. That ain't happening. I do not owe him my tears. I do not owe him anything. Nor was he owed a television show. This is different than whether or not Brendan Carr, the chair of the FCC, whether or not his commentary was really acceptable at all. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Find everything over at TonyKatz.com. I want to start with a baseline to make sure we all understand that Jimmy Kimmel may be a comic, but on his show, he was not a comic. And I think that is a delineation that people are missing, that they need to make. He was not a comic on his show. He was a progressive mouthpiece on his show. He's a comic in the comedy club he owns. I think he owns one in Vegas, maybe other ones. He's a comic if he's helping other comics. He's on stage. Sure. And I am absolutely fine with the comic getting wide latitude. I'm also fine with the radio host getting wide latitude. Now, if you tell me that the comic does and I don't, well, we are going to have ourselves one great big old disagreement. But I do not consider him a comic in the show that he was doing. Both him and his wife, where she was the head writer. They were engaged in progressive propaganda to try and influence elections on the public airwaves. I don't think I'm wrong in this. As a matter of fact, I think that we're maybe the first people to truly make that point and that differentiation. Second, I oppose government interference and government pressure on any media outlet to engage in a certain way. I wouldn't accept it for me. I don't accept it for other people. And there's a real question of whether or not Brendan Carr, the FCC, in saying, these affiliates need to do something about Jimmy Kimmel's commentary about Charlie Kirk and others. They have to do something. I can't tell you that I'm okay with that. I'm not. But if there are rules regarding the FCC that I have to live by, others have to live by, and if there are rules that are on the books that were not enforced and they're now being enforced, well, you could go about discussing changing the rules. But you can't get upset if there's actual enforcement of the law. We weren't upset when the border laws are actually enforced. You can't get upset here. I still disagree with what Brendan Carr said on Benny Johnson's podcast. I do. I do not disagree with the affiliates that said this guy has got to go. They were right. He was pulled from the show because the affiliates had had enough. It was Jimmy Kimmel who said that the assassin of Charlie Kirk was somebody who was on the political right. He flat out lied. He said on September 15th, and I quote, "We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it." That was a lie. That was a lie, and it was a known lie on September 15th, and he said it anyway. For that and that alone, you could wash your hands of Jimmy Kimmel and say, we're done here. You could have washed your hands of Jimmy Kimmel on ABC when he was lecturing to you about morality and decency, a guy who has appeared in blackface. I actually, the other day, on Carl Higby's show, there on Newsmax, referred to him as Jimmy Blackface Kimmel. I said this minutes before it was announced yesterday that he was let go, suspended, quote unquote, indefinitely from ABC. He lied. He has been a propagandist. He's taking his talking points, for example, on healthcare from Chuck Schumer. Some very interesting data that I'll share with you regarding how he was positioning guests and commentaries. Curtis Houck of newsbusters.org with that data. That's coming up. Jimmy Kimmel is entitled to free speech. An American citizen, he can say any ugly, outrageous, despicable thing he wants. He cannot decide his platform. It is not me who has said such a thing. I did not say this, that he could just, that he's not entitled to the platform. It was Representative Ocasio-Cortez who said it.
Tucker Carlson is out at Fox News. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. What I will say, though, is while I'm very glad that the person that was arguably responsible for some of the largest, driving some of the most amounts of death threats and violent threats, not just to my office, but to plenty of people across the country, I also kind of feel like I'm like waiting for the cutscene at the end of a Marvel movie after all the credits have rolled, and then you see like the villain's like hand reemerge out to grip over like the end of a building or something. But deplatforming works, and it is important. And there you go. Good things can happen. Tucker Carlson is out.
Good things can happen. Deplatforming works. Representative Ocasio-Cortez leading the way. And if it wasn't Representative Ocasio-Cortez, it was Chuck Schumer.
These lies continue tonight. Rupert Murdoch, who has admitted they were lies and said he regretted it, has a special obligation to stop Tucker Carlson from going on tonight now that he's seen how he has perverted and slimed the truth, and from letting him go on again and again and again.
If you don't tell the truth, you're not allowed to be on the air. That's what Democrats have said. They said deplatforming had a value. Why not now? Because of the commentary of Brendan Carr? Well, the commentary of Brendan Carr, the chair of the FCC, can absolutely meet a level of derision. It gets it from me. I'm unafraid of saying so. But I'm told from the progressive leader, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, deplatforming is good. And I'm told by the leader of the Democrats in the Senate that liars cannot be allowed to be on the air and have to be removed from the air. In both those cases, I could not agree more, and therefore it is right that Jimmy Kimmel loses his show on ABC, a show that he is absolutely not entitled to, a show from which he celebrated the firing of people like, for example, Tucker Carlson.
Fox News has severed bow ties with Tucker Carlson. After all these years, they are parting ways, which means he was fired. I mean, that's really what parting ways means. Tucker couldn't be reached for comment. He's already on a plane to Moscow to meet with his manager. But what a shock. I mean, what an absolutely delightful shock this is. Now Tucker can spend more time at home tanning his testicles and touching himself to that sexy green M&M. Sadly, he's probably not done poisoning old people's brains. The question now is, where will he do it next? Will he go to OAN? Will he go to Newsmax? Will he crawl back up Satan's fiery beehole from whence he came? We don't know. One of the most despicable mother Tuckers ever to appear on American television.
Well, you would know. It's okay to cheer Jimmy Kimmel being fired. It's okay to cheer him losing the platform. He told us it's okay. He would cry about this. He would share a story about that. But if it did not fit his very, very myopic view, then everything was game on. And destroying people who politically disagreed with him was fine. I'm not a Tucker Carlson fan. I believe he has gone outrageously downhill and into the ether, engaging more and more in a very Candace Owens kind of way. Count me all the hell out. Oh, Charlie Kirk is dead. Now let me invent something about Charlie Kirk and how he didn't like Israel and this. Could just stop it. Stop embarrassing yourself, Candace. It's silly. You too, Tucker. But Jimmy Kimmel mocked you being fired. So you could say whatever you want or not mock. It's up to you. The point is, Kimmel opened the door. The progressives opened the door. They believe in deplatforming. They believe in trying to not allow somebody a voice. But the difference is that the only thing that happened to Jimmy Kimmel here is because of his own hubris, he lost his gig at ABC. He could have another gig somewhere else. When the objective was to try and cancel people on the political right, the objective was to never allow them a platform. I mean, the objectives were far different. And the political right didn't do this. I mean, if the political right had done this, man, couldn't this happen years ago? Everyone's just disgusted with the hate and the vitriol with Jimmy Kimmel. This was the affiliates that said, we don't want this anymore. Were they spurred on by Brendan Carr, or were they already in a place of saying these lies, this grotesqueness has gone too far? Because America sees the assassination of Charlie Kirk in a much different light than you progressive freaks and whatever it is you guys do when you all hang out together. They're not like us. They did not connect with where America is once again. They didn't connect in the election. They didn't connect on the border. They didn't connect on woke culture. And they're still not connected. They have no idea what's happening around them. Why isn't everybody laughing? Because nothing you're saying is funny. Now you also have the business conversation involved. The business conversation is that Nexstar is trying to buy Tegna. It's a massive, massive deal. It needs regulatory approval with the FCC, of course. And Nexstar wants to ensure that it gets that approval, and it sees this commentary from Jimmy Kimmel. It's another attack on the political right. That's not going to fly. Well, we're done here. And they say we're not going to carry. And then Sinclair says we're not going to carry. As a matter of fact, we want apologies from Jimmy Kimmel because just taking him off is not enough. And you say to me, you see, it's kowtowing to the government. You mean like Facebook did to Joe Biden? You mean like Twitter before Elon Musk did to Joe Biden? By the way, I know Elon Musk has not been in the news lately, and he had the falling out with Trump. Elon Musk has still done great things and deserves your damn respect. I don't care about the falling out at all. I care that Twitter X is a place that we can engage freely, and that's why this show streams there. It's where I do the vast majority of my work. Because he spent his money, wasted his money, and decided, I can make this better, and it became the place, finally, to engage. There is a business side to this decision. But the business side to this decision also involves a guy who maybe wasn't bringing the ratings. A guy who took summers off. Maybe, just maybe, just maybe, just maybe, he had run his course. And this was just the opportunity. We said here that after Stephen Colbert, the dominoes will fall. No, I don't think President Trump should be calling for the firing of Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers, although Seth Meyers is just a train wreck of a host. I've been saying that for years. I don't think the president should get involved in that at all. I think he's wrong for putting that out. I think it was a mistake, and you don't give the people a reason to punch at you when you're already winning. Gosh, do I hate a self-inflicted wound. I hate a self-own. If you think I'm going to cry a tear for Jimmy Kimmel, you're out of your head. And if you think Jimmy Kimmel has been limited in his free speech, you don't even understand what free speech is. They don't understand it. ABC owes him nothing. It's the government that can't take his speech. The private company can take his show, do anything they want with it. They could even hire a guy out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Hey, how you doing, ABC? I'll take a fifth of the money you were paying him. All right, a third. But still, we'll negotiate. We'll talk about it over lunch. We'll go to the smokehouse. It'll be just fine. Now, I'm not shedding a tear for Jimmy Kimmel and the people who are. I'm calling them frauds. Happy to discuss it. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today.
Royal visit with Britain's King Charles. 93 WIBC.
The bond of kinship is priceless.
What happens next?
Leftist ideology after Kirk's murder
Happens here. A sick, dangerous, radical left disaster.
I can confirm that the shooter is dead.
Caused significant disruptions to the university.
Stay in the know.
Know where your kids are.
While you're on the go.
Have some control over them.
Guns and cars, it's all part of an investigation.
Drugs and explosive devices.
On air, online, and on Alexa.
20 ribeyes for $35. That's 20 ribeyes for $35 at 2 locations in Indianapolis going on now. 20 ribeyes for only $35 at the corner of South Emerson and Thompson Road. Just look for the big truck. Also in the parking lot across the street from Perry Meridian 6th Grade Academy. Also on the big truck is cases of T-bones, fillets, New York strips, burgers, and a whole lot more. Big truck sale. Marinated chicken breasts too. Don't wait. Big steak sale at 2 different locations. At the corner of South Emerson and Thompson Road. Also in the Hardee's parking lot on Meridian across from Perry Meridian 6th Grade Academy. 20 ribeyes for just $35. Don't wait. Everything must go. Big truck sale. That's 20 ribeyes for $35 at the corner of South Emerson and Thompson Road. Also in the Hardee's parking lot on Meridian across from Perry Meridian 6th Grade Academy. Get there before the truck is gone.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent America's Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Owner Danny Reinhardt's daughter, Kim, says her dad has a daily influence on the way customers are treated.
Dad's built a great business, and it's an honor to be able to keep carrying it on, and his work ethic and the way he treats customers, and that's something that I want to carry on and treat people the same way.
You can call on Reinhardt Heating and Cooling at 317-745-4526. Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Join Citizens Energy Group for free food, fun, and family-friendly activities at Community Resource Day on Saturday, October 4th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Citizens Energy Group, located at 2020 North Meridian Street. Connector resources, assistance programs, and more. On-site translation services provided by Intrends Inc. Enjoy free food, giveaways, and fun. Community Resource Day is Saturday, October 4th at 10 a.m. Visit citizensenergygroup.com/CRD.
Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon. Rob Kendall joins us to go off the rails, the latest on the Charlie Kirk investigation and the biggest stories in Indy.
The Democratic Party seems very invested in a shutdown. They're saying this is all about health care. I don't know if that is the case. I do not know if it's all about health care. I think that might be what they say. I don't necessarily believe that to be true. What I do know is that I am not getting sucked into another, oh my gosh, we're going to shut down the government. Everything's such a I'm not doing it. I won't have it. Smoke them if you got them. You guys figure it out. I have got bourbon to spare. And oh my, did I have a spectacular rum just yesterday. Tony Katz today. Can I grab that? We actually reviewed it on the Cigar and Bourbon Show, Eat, Drink, Smoke. Can I, if I just yell, can I leave the studio for a second to get it? Is that all right, Producer Landon? All right, I know. I've got things to talk about, but hold on. Let me grab this. Stay right there. I know. I'm such a radio professional. Been trying some other things, some other drinks for Eat, Drink, Smoke, eatdrinksmokeshow.com. And it's called Baku Rum. Has anybody ever had this? I commend you to check out Eat, Drink, Smoke, eatdrinksmokeshow.com and listen to the review of this that we do on the show for this week. 12-year rum, finished, of course, in ex-bourbon barrels and from the Dominican. Yeah, just buy the bottle. Just buy the bottle. It's just that easy. And that's what you should drink. Sip that and drink your Baku rum. Not a sponsor of this show, but it should be. And not get yourself worked up that Democrats are going to say we're going to shut it down because we need to extend Obamacare subsidies and the political right. Those wascally Republicans, they don't care about people's health care at all. And they don't care if people die. They just want to kill people. That's their plan. Get sick and die. Remember they said that? You remember it like I remember it. They said that Republicans' plan wants you to get sick and die. I forget who said it, though. Oh, Alan Grayson. Oh, there it is. I can't believe we almost forgot Alan Grayson. Let's see if you can remember this oldie but goodie.
If you get sick in America, this is what the Republicans want you to do. If you get sick, America, the Republican health care plan is this. Die quickly. That's right. The Republicans want you to die quickly if you...
They're still doing it. This was from, oh gosh, what year was this? Was this 2006? Yeah, oh my gosh, I almost called it. No, it was 2010. It was 2010 is when that was. They're still doing it. Same playbook. As far as I'm concerned, if the issue here is tax credits, why not offer tax credits for a whole host of things? Just make them tax cuts. Why not cut more and give back the people more of their money? Stop taking so much of their money. But I'm not getting worked up. We've been through this, guys. They'll come to an agreement. There'll be another CR, continuing resolution, and we will still have the most dysfunctional government we vote for. This is Tony Katz today.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The investigation continues. I'm Johnette Cruz. Here's what's trending at 12:30. As law enforcement continues to work on the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, President Trump paid tribute to him while speaking to reporters in the UK.
Just last week, a great American, Charlie Kirk, was heinously assassinated for speaking his mind. He was a great young man, incredible future. Some people said he might be president someday. I told him, I said, Charlie, I think you have a good shot someday at being president.
Indiana Senator Todd Young has successfully opposed a Senate resolution that he said would have increased energy costs for Hoosiers. The measure, which aimed to reinstate outdated limits on Indiana power plants, was rejected by a Senate vote. Young said that would have punished Indiana and forced residents to pay more for power. I'm Johnette Cruz, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Football is back, and so are great hairlines. We Grow Hair Indy has helped former local professional football players get back in the game with full natural hair. You don't have to play pro ball to get pro-level results. Hey, it's Rob, and I knew I picked the right team when I needed a Hail Mary for my hair. I called We Grow Hair Indy. Whether you're tailgating, coaching, or watching from the couch, do it with confidence. Trade the sidelines for a hairline. Get back in the game at We Grow Hair Indy. Schedule your free evaluation today at WeGrowHairIndy.com. That's WeGrowHairIndy.com, or call 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. Enjoy being out and about this fall. Enjoy watching the games in person with your friends with confidence you haven't had in years. And you can do it with a trip to We Grow Hair Indy. 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800